All right. I think we're just going to go live a couple of minutes early here. Since we're on multiple platforms, just to give the people who are elsewhere, not on YouTube, time to get past their ads in the beginning and all that good stuff. Gives me a chance to make sure y'all can hear me and everything's going well as we get ready to go here. But one of the things that's come up, and we've talked about this before in the Discord and even through messages with YouTube members, which, by the way, if you're not a YouTube member, you should be because you get to give input on what appears on the channel. Also, sometimes get access to extra videos. And if you want deck help, there's a form that goes directly to me and you can get some private deck help, which is pretty sweet. Um, but one of the things that comes up is I tell people, like, when I'm testing decks, like, y'all only see the final version of the final deck that kind of makes it to video, unless it's one I'm truly just like, I found this crazy thing and I'm just going to try it. But there's a lot of decks I play that are interesting, but they're like 40, 45% decks that just never make the cut. And they kind of just sit in my deck vault. And I come back to them a couple times throughout the year or throughout a season where I'll update them a little bit. I'll try something new here or there. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I learned something from playing this other deck. I'm like, let me give that a try. And the deck still sucks, so I never make a video with it. But I figured, what if I did a stream with some of these decks that I built that I just never came back to putting in a video? And people keep saying, like, oh, we'd love to see that kind of stuff or whatever. And I'm like, like, nobody wants to, like, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's tough about content creation, especially for people who play card games and are making content every day or multiple times a week. Everybody says, well, I want to see the thing that's different. I don't want to see the same cards. I don't want to see the same decks. But then two things happen. One, we're showcasing different ideas that may not be 50, 60% ladder ready. And then people just complain. Like, this deck wasn't very good. I don't know why you bothered wasting your time with it. Or they'll be in the comments like, don't waste your time with this deck. It sucks. Well, whatever. Or you get the other half of that of people saying, well, this deck should just play this card, or it'd be better if you did this, or whatever. Then you're back to square one, right? You're just playing the best cards and the best decks. So it's a weird thing, right? And nobody should really be copying a bunch of the decks that a bunch of us creators put up anyway, because it's a small sample size, right? You're going to see, in a lot of cases, six, if we're playing best of one, maybe up to 10 games in a video, and that's all you're seeing. And it could be certain matchups that work or don't work. It could be certain play skills of opponents that are better or worse, or top decks where they get lucky or whatever, right? And that could change the outcome. And then when you play your set of 10 or 6 or whatever it is, might be the exact opposite. I always tell people you should be watching videos for ideas, concepts, strategy, and then decide if you want to implement some of those things or what you could take away and make the deck better or worse or whatever, right? That's what it should really be, other than constantly chasing around like, I got to find the best deck so I can rank and do all this and whatever, because inevitably things will change, right? I mean, think about it. As a creator, we're all playing different decks that are all winning on the ladder. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, we're all showcasing. Hell, I think I already have like nearly 100 decks this season or something that have already gone up, and there'll be more over the next like 4 weeks or whatever, 5 weeks. So all of those can win. So worrying about what's the next best winning deck, some of it's going to come down to luck anyway, right? All this stuff's playable on the ladder because the average player on the ladder isn't that good. And that's not insulting anybody. Like, the average, well, I was going to say average Magic player, but the average gamer, period, is not great at the games they play. Like, I'm only what I would call solid. Once upon a time, I would say I was really good at Magic. Now I'm just like solid at Magic. But that's only because I dedicate a lot of time to it. But all the other games I play, I'm pretty mediocre to bad. Like, I used to be a top tier Madden player. Now when I play Madden, it's super casual and I'm trash, right? Or if I'm playing uh Team Fight Tactics, I'm definitely trash. I can't get past gold 3. That's not true. I was gold 2 for like a week, but like, I generally can't get past gold 3 every season on Team Fight Tactics. And I've probably played that damn thing for hundreds of hours at this point, right? Most players just aren't. So you can play a lot of stuff on the ladder and have fun with it. It's more about your personal strategy and does your deck have reasonable answers for the things on the ladder. That said, sometimes, and this is what this video is about, or this stream, depending on when you're watching it, there's just some decks that just don't get there for whatever reason, you know? So I think this is going to be kind of just a chill stream. I'm just going to see what I have in here to mess with. There's this Hellbent Rakdos, where it's basically just Rakdos all out, empty your hand, hasty guys, tears, Stingerback Terror. Oh, this is the only way I figured out I could play Stingerback Terror and it not suck. I just realized that. I think that's why this was in here, because I was like, how do I empty my hand and make Stingerback Terror solid? And it's like, well, if I play a bunch of cheap black and red things where I'm just emptying my hand and then like have the supplemental like corpse of a lost plan, that's kind of a thing. I have one I just updated again today, which is fill your graveyard basically with Somnophage and Souls of the Lost. You have like Braids, you get Invasion of Amonkhet to copy stuff in graveyards. Harvest of Misery to help with all the creature decks, little creature decks. So there's a few things we could do with this. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I want to play because I have a bunch of decks in here. Like I'm always deleting decks. I had like it's at 90 of 100. I deleted like 30 decks earlier this week, and it's already back to like 10 slots left. What else do I have in here though? There's a pile of things. Oh, I built a Doc Arluck deck. I don't know if this is even any good. It's probably not, honestly. But this is one like the cards make sense, but I haven't even attempted to play it. This is one that's like I theory crafted, and then that's it. Antonio says, "Hey, PowrDragn, how's it going? So cool to catch a live stream. How's it going? Good to see you." Go Calper, Ishin Kappa. I don't know what Kappa means, but Ishin didn't even make the final cut of the last deck I played because ultimately, Ishin, other than being legendary, is mostly outclassed by Roaming Throne. Is kind of the problem. Like you can play both, but then you're kind of tight for space. And Roaming Throne literally, like it's harder to kill because it has the Ward 2 on it. And it works for things that come into play or whatever. Basically, every ability it triggers on your humans, not just your attack triggers. So it's like Ishin is cool in principle, but ultimately doesn't pull his weight, I guess. But yeah, this deck I might goof around with. This one seems like it could still be kind of fun. I don't know. What else do we have in here? Like, there's so many random decks. Oh, I was working on a Roots deck because I've had a couple people ask me to do an updated version of Roots, but man, Roots sucks right now. Like it's super bad. Like literally, I think I'm only losing to Roots in my testing, even with bad decks when I have bad draws. Like it's not good. And if they remove the Roots easily, or some cases exile it, like the deck doesn't do a whole lot. So I'm not super feeling it. And like this whole idea with like Honest Redstein being able to get stuff back, and I feel like it should be at least reasonably playable, but it's so bad. Joe Fold says, I'd like to see a plot deck with Doc. Everyone I've seen doesn't seem good. Like they just are kind of clunky, you know? And like one early removal seems to set those off. I mean, I'll play my version. I think it's still not gonna be, but this is why we're doing the video, right? We're playing stuff that didn't make videos. Reality says, how's it going today? Reality, good. However, something quick I want to point out, and this isn't to take a shot at you, Reality, right? One of the things, and this is like a common theme I see on streams, is people come in and then they either ask the streamer how they're doing, which to be honest, at the start of the stream is kind of nice, and we're still early, so I don't mind it. But when you're like an hour in and they've already been talking to everybody and they're doing a thing, like to answer that over and over is probably not great. The other is, especially when there's like a theme going on, it'll be like, how's the deck going today? How's this thing? And it's like every person's asking that. So like if you're a streamer ends up skipping over it or not, don't ever take that personally. It might just be somebody who's just bothered because they've just answered the same question like 20 times. You know, not saying there's anything wrong with asking. Just know that sometimes streamers are just like, oh, this question again. So they kind of like skip over it and go to the next thing. Ever get Roxanne working? We've played Roxanne in a few decks, actually. Did you ever update the mono green with Tyrex and the new OTJ that puts counters on cards? I don't know what you're referring to. I need card names, I think. My wishes finally got answered. MH3 is the best thing to happen to Arena. I'll take your word for it. I don't really play the formats where that's legal. How long has the stream been running? Usually you can see a runtime, but if you just look on the screen, there's usually a runtime of how long somebody's been live. But this is 11 minutes. Thank you for posting your vids with deck lists. It makes it less daunting for someone that just started MTG with zero clue what's going on. You know, okay. I thought about this because it's come up a couple times in the last week. By the way, if you catch me rubbing my head, it's because I bumped my head earlier. People have been asking, like, can you make a video about making a deck? And I have a playlist. If you go to my channel, youtube.com/PowrDragn, go to my playlist. There's a MTG strategy playlist, and there's a bunch of stuff in there about like decks, sideboarding, basics on deck building. There's stuff about different strategy highlighted, some streams where we covered people's decks. Anything I think strategy wise, I slowly just like plot there so people have something. The thing though that's tough, and I've thought about doing another just like more in-depth video, which would take a while to edit and everything, but the issue is that almost whatever we put down onto a video, the next time you go to build a deck, you're going to have the exception to the rule, right? Like if we said, well, decks should generally have, if you're playing an aggro deck, this many creatures, this many spell, this many lands. If you're playing a control deck, this many spells, this many lands. If you're playing whatever, right? But then it'll be like, well, I'm playing a control deck, but it's based around red planeswalkers. But then there's some cards that work with those that make you change up the way you build it, and it's not going to be built like a normal control deck, right? Or I'm playing an aggro deck, but it uses these certain creatures, or it needs certain things that need more land, so I got to have more cards that draw more land. So now that's offsetting the number of creatures I would play, or whatever, right? So it's really, really tough to have. That's why you don't really see a lot of those videos. Like most of the stuff you find is literally like the absolute basics of deck building, because every set, every deck type, every strategy or whatever, like comes with its own new set of problems in deck building. And that's what makes it kind of tough. Still might do it because I know some people just like seeing that stuff, but it's not easy to come up with one that's like good evergreen content that people would want forever. But I do want to do it, and it's something I've been scripting out to try to at least make it as useful as possible, but we'll see. Dun, 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 dun. Biddy Jr. says, morning, PowrDragn. Well, morning to you. It is morning for a lot of y'all. It technically becomes tomorrow in like 15 minutes for me. But then it'll be today. So I guess I technically never get to tomorrow. Which would also be weird because it's the first time I've had a live stream going on my videos actually gone live. So we'll see what happens. Greetings from Singapore, y'all. People in Singapore talk like us from Texas. Greetings, though, Saj. How's it going? Ulalek is my favorite card from the set. By far the most fun I've had since Kaldam. Hey, I'm not going to yuck somebody else's yum. Like, if you enjoy that, absolutely play the hell out of it and enjoy it. Seriously. I think that's one thing we get caught up in Magic sometimes. Don't be wrong. Like, you'll see me gripe about people playing boring, slow control decks or whatever. But at the same time, you hear me say, like, I get it. The cards are there. If you like playing the type of Magic, play it. It's just boring, and it sucks for viewing, for sure. To the point that sometimes I just concede those games. And I'm like, I know I'm not going to use it because I already have like 30 minutes worth of good footage. A 25-minute game isn't going to make it into the video. So I just move on to the next one. One thing I once heard from Lord Limit was that one way to grow is to ask yourself questions every step of the way. Why did you make this deck building choice? Why am I choosing this line? You know, it's funny because that's part of my script actually, is when you're deck building, don't just ask yourself, like, I guess because the first thing is when people go to deck build, they want to put every card in the deck that has what I'll call similar words, right? Like if you're building a +1/+1 counter deck, everybody goes, all right, I'm gonna put every one of these cards that says it makes +1/+1 counters. And inevitably I'll get that in the comments. Because recently, as an example, for the recent +1/+1 counter deck I put up, right? People were saying, like, why aren't you playing a set of the new Rhino, right? The guy that doubles your +1/+1 counters or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, he's just slow. Like I didn't have a lot of times where I want to cast him, right? Because the way a deck's built, it doesn't make sense. I'm trying to go low and fast and then get those counters and maybe hit with like, I don't know, a gold vein hider or something, right? That's just more effective. But people see all these other cards that say something to do with +1/+1, or it gives all your creatures +1/+1. It's like, yeah, that's all fine and good. But strategically, it just doesn't make sense with the rest of the deck. So you have to really decide that. And everybody's deck building method is going to be different. A lot of times for me, I'll just shove one or two copies of every card I'm thinking about playing into a deck list, and then I'll slowly go through and eliminate some. And then as I start kind of seeing the vision of what I want to go with, I may pull some back in, I'll take some back out till I get close to what I think I at least want to test, and then I'll figure it out from there. But it's very, very different. Everybody's going to have a different path for it. But yeah, let's go ahead and play some Doc Arlock because I've played 0 games with this card. I think we're going to play these just in the play queue because I don't really know what the hell we're going to be doing. Like I said, these are all decks that, for one reason or another, I didn't feel they were good on paper, or I played some games with them and they sucked. So we're just going to rotate through some different decks for a couple. This is going to be a chill stream, but if y'all have questions, feel free to ask in chat anything you want to ask about Magic or whatever, and I'll answer it for you. I mean, you can ask life questions. I don't know if I'll have a good answer, but I might try. Hey, Optimator, how's it going? Yo, yo, yo to you too, friend. That's a cool little avatar you got. Yeah, we'll keep this. All right. Why? Oh yeah, because this has plot. I was like, why did I include this in the list? I remember now. Maybe a weird question, but when did you start playing on Arena? It feels like you've been playing Magic since Ice Age. I've been playing Magic since before Ice Age, and I've definitely been playing Arena since the beginning. Matter of fact, when Arena, I actually played Arena before y'all played Arena because I played a bunch of the test versions when I was working for Wizards at the time. So I am a old original. I'm an Arena OG, or I guess is about OG as you could be for Arena. I guess we're just attacking here. All right, they don't have anything. All right, let's put this off to the side. Shah says, I sometimes see decks beyond the standard 60 cards. How do you actually play with that much cards, and what are the basic steps for building decks past 60? I mean, honestly, it's going to be the same thing. There's really no different. I'm going to do this just so I can plot this Railway Brawler. The thing is, like, when I have my lists, I'm going to be honest with you. When I have lists that are 61 cards, I don't really ever play anything over 61. They're all 60 or 61. Some of the times just because I'm greedy and I'm too lazy and don't want to cut stuff or whatever. And that's why at the end of my videos, I'll tell you, if you want to cut something, here are like 3 or 4 cards that you could cut down a copy or whatever. But generally speaking, you're going to hurt your math by going significantly over that. Like, it's just not worth it most of the time. I wouldn't recommend it. I think more people do it than really should. I mean, I still see deck lists that are, 85 cards or whatever. I'm like, how are people playing Magic like this? Like, it seems crazy to me. I'm going to go ahead and just plot this. Opponent's not doing much, so we'll just take our time here. And then if we try to, like, Trailblazer plus Brawler or whatever, or maybe the other way around, we could Fading Hope to save something. I mean, I think they're just playing like a boring control deck, which, way to bring a boring control deck into the play queue, opponent. But, everybody's entitled. But yeah, there's no real difference. Like, whatever percentage of land you would normally play, you just do the math, add another land or two for every couple of spells you want to play or whatever. It's no different. Shigeki, all right, you got it. when it becomes a just a video game, yeah, it definitely is just a video game at the end of the day, no matter how you line it up. All right. Um, how bothered y'all gonna be if I just concede this game? Like our deck's already trash, and we're trying to play against what's a very boring control deck here. Is your opponent not gonna do anything? Oh, this is weird. I truly expected the opponent to do something here. Um, well, I don't want to play another railway brawl. I guess we'll play another one of these. Uh, this took a weird turn, y'all, and I was not prepared for this. This is so weird. Does the opponent for real just have nothing? I don't understand. All right, I guess I'll play this guy. Uh, I mean, I still can leave up Fading Hope, or I can sack the Malevolent Hermit now. If the opponent doesn't have an answer, like this ends up being a stupid turn. Wait, maybe they're playing their own thing with like Smuggler Surprise? Maybe that's what's happening here. Which is why, because they could get away with playing like Brotherhood's End and stuff here to survive like the early creatures. That would make sense. I will be tapping this for blue, thanks. And we'll get another island just to make sure that we can stay on task for what we want to do. That's true. They could have negate. I think my problem is like when you're playing a lot of cards, like even on Arena, when you're playing, I mean, I see lists with like 200 cards. That's just not going to be efficient. Like you're not going to win consistently, or at least not very likely with 200 cards. Because the problem is, any card you need, your odds of drawing it are so low. That's the reason everybody stays close to 60, right? If you're playing 4 of something, you have a 1 in 15 shot of drawing the card you need whenever you need it, right? And actually, as you draw cards, it gets progressively better odds, obviously, right? Um, what are they going to discard here? Do they have anything that's 9? Or, I mean, that's 7? I'm going to bounce Railway Brawler just in case. Actually, dang, hold on. I guess I sack this guy and just make him pay the 3. I don't know. Maybe this was a greedy turn. And if they just discard, I don't know. I guess they could discard like a Traxa. That's probably in there. Because everybody who plays control decks plays a Traxa. I mean, show it to us. What you got? There's got to be some big monstrous card you're playing. Oh, well, of course. All right, GG's. Like, who brings us? At least they're playing some fun cards. There's a Bonnie Paul over there. It wouldn't have done me much good there to wait. A bad 60 card deck is definitely better than a bad 200 card deck. Oh, yeah, yeah. If you're talking like equal quality at 60 and 200, yeah, you take the 60 every time. That's not even a question. Yeah, like my personal belief, I don't know if this is true, that people that are playing, 200 plus card decks on Arena are either new players that don't understand game theory or math, and they're just like, oh, I can play every single card I want to play, so I'm just gonna, because a lot of games have, some games have a hard cap of how many cards you can play, so they might be excited to just play a lot of cards, or they got milled once upon a time and they're like, I hate getting milled, I want to play cards, and they're just making sure they don't ever get milled out. Don't know if either of those is true, but they make sense, you know. All right. Let's plot this thing. And I'll plot this thing. And I might as well plot this since why not? And then if our Doc Arlock doesn't die, next turn is going to be awesome. Actually, we could bounce it so it doesn't die anyway here. Well, this got weird. Man, okay. I get it if we're playing on the ranked ladder. But why are y'all being these people? Like this isn't any fun to play against when we're just playing dumb decks in the play queue. Like, what's wrong with people? All right, we'll play our Outcaster Trailblazer. I will get a green. I will play this. Probably just discarding whatever I draw. Oh, I say that. Hold on. If I leave that, I could play that anyway when that comes into play. Oh, I kind of like that. All right. I thought I had a plan, but I changed my mind. We get to draw some more cards. And then I'm going to get blue, actually. And we'll play this guy. So now I can both Malevolent Hermit and 3 Steps Ahead, which is super cool. And I might as well just do this and make a dude. All right. And more cards. So even if something were to happen here, we have like a real hand. You're kind of worthless, though. All right. Going to attack. Boom. Get in there. No Wandering Emperor for you, friend. All right. End the turn. Doc does what? Doc makes all your stuff you plot cost 2 less. Spells from your graveyard or from exile cost 2 less to cast as well. Yeah, you can have that. We don't really care. We're not going to fight over that. Ooh, another Malevolent Hermit. That's pretty sweet. I can go ahead and play this one too if I wanted to. Out of the graveyard. Yeah, that seems fine. Get rid of this other dock because we don't need that now. And this is non-creature spells we play can't be countered now. So now our counters can't be countered. Yeah, we're attacking. Do what you will, opponent. Do what you will. All right. Well, we're not worried about Sunfall because we got that covered 2 different ways now. The 3 Steps Ahead and with the Malevolent Hermit. And we have way more than 10 damage. Three Steps Ahead doing all the things. Oh no, copy a token. Yeah, we just stopped the shenanigans, right? Seems fine. All right. Okay, well, the deck won. That's awesome. Is the game sound off? Can y'all not hear the game? I have all the same settings I have in my videos. So should be able to hear this. If not, I'll have to fix that on a future stream. Yeah, those filthy mill decks back in the day with Ruin Crab. Yeah, yep. Ruin Crab was some good stuff. Some of my friends who were new to Magic hated getting milled. Felt like an unfair loss to them and got some negative emotions out of them because they don't get to play cards. So in a way, yeah, and that's kind of my thing, right? About some of the different strategies. Like I get that they exist and people like playing that type of Magic. If the cards exist, you should get to play with them. That's fine. But when there's no real interaction and one person just like not just Magic. I got to work on WWE Raw Deal as well. And there were things that we talked about even in playtesting on that stuff and card creation of things that make it hard for other people to just play their cards isn't really good design. You know, the same way that extra turns in any game tend to not be good design. Like they're just not fun. They don't create interactive experiences. They don't create anything interesting. They're not in the world we're in now. And as much as people don't want to admit it, if they're not fun to watch, it makes for a bad product, right? To draw in more fans and more interest or do commentary for in big tournaments or whatever. So I do get where they're coming from. There's a lot like here's the thing to think about. Some of Magic's biggest growth period was when mid-rangey creature decks were a thing and aggro decks were a thing. The times where we've had heavier control decks, at least as far as I've experienced, there's always been growth, but they tend to be lower during those times. And I think part of that, and I'm sure there's a lot of reasons for it, but part of that is when somebody comes to a stream, let's say they're streaming a pro tour or whatever, it's a lot easier for somebody who's new or beginner level to grok what's going on when they can see creatures doing things or cool enchantments doing things, right? But when it's all the things are spells, if they don't immediately know what all the spells are, they can't visualize the strategy and what should be happening or why somebody's holding back a card or whatever, right? There's so many things you have to have advanced knowledge of, or those games don't make any sense. So they're less interesting by default. And I don't think people think about that sometimes. It's honestly one of the issues I have when I'm watching Flesh and Blood. Like I understand the basics of how to play the game, but because of their card designs, it's hard to read the cards quickly in real time. So it makes the game less interesting for me to watch unless I've like seen the deck already earlier in the tournament and like I understand the cards that person's playing or whatever. But without it, it's they're not designed in a way that's quick to absorb, you know? Godfather Al. See, now I might call you Godfather AI though. How's it going, man? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, that's weird that the game is silent for y'all because it really shouldn't be. I'm not sure why it's silent for y'all because I literally have it set up exactly like I do for doing videos. But for some reason, y'all aren't hearing the game sound. Or maybe it's just quiet for y'all. Maybe that's the issue. Hold on a second. I'm going to let me see if I think I have a way I might be able to do this on the fly. Let me see. Haven't opened this in a minute. Let's see. What is going to No, y'all should be able to hear this fine. Weird. Let's do this. Maybe I make this a thing. And then y'all should be able to hear. Oh, wait, how about this? And then we'll set this to play. Yeah, I don't know. This seems like y'all should be able to hear it. It's weird that y'all can't. Like I don't know why y'all can't hear it. That's very weird. Okay. Well, now we just have me in stereo. That's not any better. That's not good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to mess with this. I don't know why y'all can't hear this. It's very weird. There's one Fibblethip in that deck. You just increased your voice volume, but again, I'm okay with no game music. Oh no, that was just like the same thing. It was just on a different thing. Hold on a second. No, it's not. It's definitely. I don't think it's a y'all thing. I think it's definitely something going on here as to why y'all can't hear it. But I don't know why that is. That's my question. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to set this to Wavelength. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Minimum, y'all should at least be able to hear it now while I'm playing, I think. Actually, hold on. Maybe we don't even need to do that. Maybe I might have an option here. Let's go with, yeah, this is the most exciting thing on stream, huh? I'm gonna do this. And y'all should at least be able to hear it, I think. All right. Now y'all should definitely be able to hear it. I don't have it set crazy loud, but y'all should at least be able to hear me like clicking through options now. At least I think that works. Still silent? Wow. I mean, it's quieter, but y'all should be able to hear it. Hold on a second. Let me just go in here because I set the audio so like the master volume is not crazy loud when I'm recording. All right. How about now? I mean, y'all just saw me turn it up. So like if y'all don't hear it, I don't know what's going on then. Yeah, all right. So it's not a y'all thing. Something else is going on my side. Okay. Well, I'm not sure why. Oh, wait, you know what? I think I know what it is. I just realized. Okay, hold on. Let me go change another option real quick. I think I know what it is. I think it's an OBS thing. I think I was looking in the wrong place to solve the problem. All right. I think I got this figured out then. Let's go back to here. Boop. And then do this. Let me add. No, y'all should hear that. Hold on. This might be a touch loud. I'm going to apologize if it is because I'm testing something. All right. Can y'all hear that? Because otherwise, I think I'll just have to figure it out later why the game's not coming through. But that should definitely be a thing. I don't know why the audio is not coming through because it is definitely there. Let me check the settings properties on that. Maybe. Nope. It definitely should have the audio there because when I'm playing, I can see all the waveforms for it. Yeah, I don't know what's up. Oh, here's a question. Were y'all hearing the audio on previous streams? Because that's a different question. Because I feel like if y'all were hearing it before and I haven't changed anything, it may be something that's just like, one of those things where you reset stuff and haven't had your stream in ages. Well, that's fair. If you haven't heard a stream in a while, I don't know. Okay, weird. All right, I don't know what's up. Because I am definitely hearing it very clearly. And if let's see, I'm trying to figure out how I can add it for y'all to hear. But the only option I can think of is if I go here and make this a thing. Yeah, I'll just have to mess around and do some private recordings just to test some stuff. But that's weird. Not sure why that would be a thing. Because the only three things I can think of that would affect that, I've now tested, and they don't seem to be doing the thing. All right, so if I open this, I have like 3 different windows of things going on in real time while I'm trying to test this too, by the way. Yeah, 100%. I have this going into my feed here where it says y'all can hear the music now. and I can see the waveforms playing. So if y'all can't hear it now, I'm just gonna have to move on and play some decks while we figure this out. Because yeah, 100%. I wish I could show you all this screen, but like it's everything says y'all should hear it. So it's weird that y'all don't. All right, like I said, it could just be a thing on my side. Uh, seriously, I mean, maybe one of those weird things where like I reset my computer and everything's gonna work fine. That stuff happens. You're not. I mean, you're not missing much. Like these decks are not exciting decks. This is why they didn't make videos. But yeah, let's play a little more with this Doc Arlock pile. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed y'all can't hear the game. I don't know what that's about. Though I did have a couple of minor weird things with my machine earlier with my cameras, so it could just be something to do with my machine right now. I also haven't reset or turned my machine off in like 3 days, so I'm sure that's part of it too. This hand's okay, I guess. This is one of those hands that's not great, but kind of just does enough. Oh, what's funny is I have to go back and change stuff because technically I'm not going to be able to hear the game soon. Let's go ahead and play this. I'm sure it's just going to die, but you know, we still got to try it. Because sometimes you do have to force them to have it. And if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. Looks like this time they don't. So that worked out in our favor. So that's good. Um, Opponent's attacking just to gain life here, I assume. I'm switching over my output so it goes back into my headphones here temporarily. All right. Yeah, I guess we just let them gain a point of life. I think it's more Boros humans that happens to have some lifelink from the looks of things, if I were guessing. All right, so we plot this thing, right? And we plot this thing. And then we just pass because we're not going to attack into there because that seems foolish. Everybody's attacking. Okay, so we know they don't have any combat tricks. Actually, I guess it's not totally true. They might still. Yeah, all right, cool. We'll block this thing. All right, they could have still had something there. Also, here's the thing, and I want to ask y'all a real question because I don't know this answer, but some of the larger creators, and I'm not taking shots at anybody, but some of the larger creators, they do test decks or just play the stuff that's not as good to play on ladder in their in the play queue, right? But the once or twice, even when I've just played a couple of games in the play queue, just as like, okay, I'm playing this deck for the first time, I want to test it in the play queue, then we'll play games on ladder. I'll get people complaining about that. So, like, how much does that bother y'all to see? Genuine question. And this is to take shots at anybody. I for real don't know this answer. Because, like, personally, I don't think it's even that big of a deal. Like, especially if we're just showing off ideas. But again, I see other channels do it, and I'm just like, okay, obviously this doesn't seem that bothersome to people, but some people think it is. All right, no attacks. Yeah, because there's decks like this that I don't think are ladder. And here's the other thing too: a lot of people don't play on the ladder. Some people just get into the play queue, do their dailies, and they're good, right? They don't play any ladder games because they don't want the stress or whatever, which is totally legit. Nothing wrong with that. All right, play this other dude. I will discard this. Okay, there's a bunch of little dins in the way. You have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or what did I count that way for? That was awful. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I guess we could attack with this. And if you want to give up like 5 or 6 things, then sure. Nope, just block him with 1. Love to see it. Not totally sure how we lose from here, but I'm sure we'll find out. Ooh, another brawler. We like this. However, we're gonna plot this first because I like having my mana available. And we will attack with the flyer. Sure. I'm beginning to think I can just attack with everything here. Seal from existence. Well, that's a card. Um, yeah, you got it, I guess. Like anything to get rid of isn't the problem card. I mean, we have another brawler, so whatever. I mean, I could have used the hermit just to turn it into a flyer, I suppose. That's not the best strategy here. Get a card. Oh, that's nice. Um, do this. We're the greatest power among. Okay, well that's cute. Yeah, let's do that. Get to draw and discard a couple times. I don't really need that, but it does work out of the graveyard. Opponent says GG. All right, cool. All right, so this Doc Arlok did a little bit of something. Dun, 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 dun. People complain because you weren't on the. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I don't think I've done but 1 or 2 videos where they were only in the play queue. I've done some, like I said, where the first 2 to 3 games are tested games in the play queue, and then the rest are on the ladder, and I've still had people complain about it. They're like, "What's the point of even playing the games that aren't on the ladder?" And I'm like, "Bro, not everybody's like playing super competitive stuff. Not every deck is meant to be played on the ladder. Some decks are fun that you just want to play in the play queue and just knock out your dailies while you do something fun. Like that's a real thing." Do. Let's see. I do have that. Said they finally fixed the loud counters noise. Only kind of. Like it does. It's still louder, but it's nowhere near as loud as it used to be. It used to be crazy. Windswept says doesn't bother me, but I definitely see people complaining on other streamers' comments. Yeah, I don't know why people do. I think here's the thing: gamers as a whole. Well, let me be careful how I say this. There are a lot of what I'm going to call try hard gamers that think they are better than they are, that believe their way is the only way to play the game, and everything should be competitive and support competitive and blah, blah, and whatever. But the reality is, and you can apply this to virtually every game, I don't think it'd be wrong to say 80+% in most games, 90% probably in a large chunk of them, are never going to play competitively in their life. Now, on Arena, we a few more people play competitive because it's the thing that's there and has some rewards, and you might as well try every once in a while. But generally speaking, most players are never going to play a high level event. They're never going to register for a big tournament. Like they're just not. You know, again, I played League of Legends. I currently play Teamfight Tactics. You know, a variety of hell. I play Madden still periodically. I'm not going to play a high level thing in any of those. I barely even play ranked game. That's not true. I play some ranked games in TFT, but I expect to not do well. Right. So when I watch somebody else not playing ranked in those, it doesn't matter to me. Cause I'm like, as long as I'm learning something or I see some cool strategies, that's all I'm looking for. Right. Because I know my skill level is going to be capped. The problem is a lot of people who don't understand that are nowhere near as good as they think they are. Like the example I like to use is poker. If you show up to the World Series of Poker, there's going to be 6,000 people that play that tournament that year, right? The main event, anyway. Realistically, of those 6,000 people, probably less than 500 have any real credentials that say that they have a chance of even making the final table, much less winning the tournament. But there's a bunch of people who think they're better than they are that have paid their $10,000 or whatever to be part of that event and are going to be upset when they don't win, even though they don't have a reason to believe so. Same thing applies to Magic. So it's weird when those people are floating around, trying to say like everybody should be playing on the ladder and everybody should be doing this thing when the majority of people just don't play that way. Dun, 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 dun. I don't care this way, but I figure that it's because the audience that picks up your videos are very committed to playing on the standard ladder. Not necessarily, actually. Believe it or not, there's players of all kinds. We get a lot of beginner players on my channel because of how I present my content and whatever. And only every once in a while do I even brand my decks as being like super competitive. And, the ones that overperform are like 80% win rate or whatever crazy stuff. Like those obviously are. But a bunch of stuff, like the one that just went up 20 minutes ago, I literally found this weird deck online. It's a Simic deck that honestly might be an AI project, but it plays well and it plays odd cards. So I made a video about it. Right. Like, and it honestly, I think I say at the end of the video, it was like a 55% deck or 54% deck, something like that. So it's not even like it's a world beater, but the fact that it even worked and it looks weird was kind of the story of that video, not that everybody should build this and go crazy with it, you know? Bum, 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 bum. Sometimes off meta decks are fun to play on the ladder. It's always great to win when you get somebody off guard. Oh, sure. When they work, it's awesome. Just a lot of them aren't going to work. To be honest, I used to play Cube because I'm kind of a new player, but started playing Rank because you go against the Cube. Ain't no different than Rank minus, get reward. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And that's mostly true what I was saying, right? Like sometimes you just take a shot because if you have a decent deck, then you might get a little extra for your time. But why though? It's his content, and Boros Convoke is heavily in the meta right now on the ladder. Yeah, that's exactly it. If that's kind of an interesting point too that I see a lot. That there are viewers who want to make the creator's content what they want as a viewer, as an individual viewer, right? And that's really not the way to view it. You should be finding a creator that already makes stuff similar to what you. Now, if there's stuff that's close and you make a couple of recommendations to them, and if they take them, they do. If they don't, they don't, right? But I've seen people go to, and not just in Magic, this is in anything, that will go to a channel, obviously not making the style of content they want, and be like, oh, well, your stuff would be so much better if, or you should really be doing these things. And it's like, you can obviously tell that's not what the creator's going for, right? They're appealing to a different audience. Same thing with mine. I'm not playing super top tier, always talking about super meta things or whatever. Like, I will mention it periodically where it makes sense, but that's not the driving force behind my content. My goal is to have some chill, fun things, present content in a way that lower average, mid-tier casual players can grok it, and then have a shot of doing something if they do want to play one of the decks that I feature, right? You at least have a good starting point. And we talk about weird cards and we showcase different things or weird combos that I came across or whatever, right? That's what we're doing. The rest is just fun. It's the same way periodically I present these other videos and talk about different perspectives, and we have the podcast and all that, right? It's not just you got to do this to play top tier Magic, because not everybody does that. Yeah, I came to realize that the play queue and the ladder queue are the same thing when it comes to opponents' decks. By playing ladder, at least you can kind of match up against someone with the same play. That's a good point too. Ladder is going to give you more often a better chance of playing against decks of similar quality. And I use that loosely because there's no perfect way for it. But basically, for those of you who don't know, when you play on the ladder, it really just cares about your rank, if you've been winning or not, and it's kind of it, right? Whereas on the play queue, it tries to figure out this, I won't say imaginary because it exists somewhere, but this numbering system scores your deck and then kind of looks at your account with like supposedly of like, time and different stuff and cards available and blah, blah, blah. And then tries to give you opponents that are similarly matched, right? Which makes sense because it would suck if you were a brand new player and then just getting paired up with people that have been playing for 5 years and are playing a top tier deck or whatever. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you do hop in with a top tier deck or playing enough top tier cards, you should get paired with tougher opponents, right? That's what the play queue does. But if you're playing something janky and just testing stuff, you'll probably get paired with more bottom to mid tier decks because that's what your deck's doing, right? So both of you will get a more competitive game. So that's all the more reason for people to want to play on the ladder, really, or play in the play queue than the ladder. Probably crafted the deck and took it to ladder without realizing the video was in the play queue. No, I've definitely done it purposely. Commands a bunch of ways, but to summarize, rank legitimizes a game in new players' eyes. I think in some players' eyes is more accurate because a lot of new players don't care one way or the other. A lot of times, because again, a lot of them, I've talked to several, even in our Discord, that'll tell you they just don't play on the ladder because they don't want the stress. Promazon, how's it going? I never catch these. Good evening. Good evening to you too, friend, or good morning, wherever you are. I have two fun decks. I just don't have the rares to consistently play on the ladder. That's also fair. You know, you may not have the card yet, so you don't want to play it on the ladder and just get run over. Most of the time, I play the play queue. I keep playing against mono red and convoke. I think if you're playing decks that have a lot of the better cards and you're going into the play queue, you're going to run into a lot of those. When I've been testing a bunch of junk, I don't run into them as much. But those decks also are playing a lot of weird cards that are probably going to score a lot lower on a deck strength basis. I really wish there was a more casual Pauper Pioneer at my local shops. Feels like most paper play near me is Commander, Draft, or super competitive. That's going to be the case. And the reason that is time and cost, right? If we hop on Arena, for some people, Arena is still totally free, right? They're spending nothing on Arena. But it's also a convenience and a time thing, right? You're willing to get on and do casual, weird things and play Brawl and play on the play queue or whatever with no rewards or whatever because the investment is a lot lower. But when somebody takes time to go to a store or to a tournament or to a convention, right? And they've paid some amount of entry fee to participate. Now you have both a time and a monetary commitment, and they're going to want to get more out of it. So they're generally going to be more competitive. You're not going to see as many casual level things. Now, Commander is a bit different because most Commander is free. You know, there are competitive Commander things, but most Commander is free. So then it's just finding players that pair up to play the type of Magic that you want to. You know, everybody that tells you like nobody plays 8 or 10 turn Commander anymore. Totally full of crap. I have been to tons of Magic cons at this point and Command Fest and conventions, and I have played Commander at just about all of them at some point. And I have yet to play a competitive Commander game because that's not the type of Commander I play. And I have played in many, many games that have gone 8+ turns. Like those still exist. People still play that type of Magic. You just have to ask and let them know. Yeah, but you can literally grind to top 1000 Mythic with the list in ranked. That's what boggles my mind. Why play an unranked play queue if it's already tier 1 best one? Yeah, there's a mental aspect to gaming. Wow, I'm gonna have to be real careful on my words here. And this is because I've seen this stuff. Literally my whole adult life has been in the tabletop game industry. There is a mental thing, and I'm not taking shots at anybody's mental health or anything here. I'm just using this to explain a point where people will try to dominate as much as they can in a gaming space because it's the thing they can achieve. I've seen a lot of people who, and I don't think this applies to everybody who does it, mind you, but there are a lot of people that are struggling at points in life. Maybe home life sucks or their job sucks or whatever it is. But when they can get into their game and they can win, they can achieve something and they feel like they're in control of something and they're winning, right? So they get this, I don't know, sense of self, rush of endorphins, whatever it is, being the big fish in a small pond, effectively. Like that's a real thing that goes on out there. And it sucks. And I feel bad for those people because you're really not achieving anything I mean, not to be rude, but if you're an able-bodied person and you go kick the crap out of everybody at the Special Olympics, like, what did you achieve? You know what I mean? Like, big fish, small pond stuff doesn't benefit anybody. You're not getting better by playing those games. Like, you haven't really proven anything, and the other person just got a negative play experience. I mean, you brought a gun to a knife fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird, but people do it in every game. I've seen it for years, sadly. Um, mm, 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 yeah, my local shop is only Commander. I took to promo standard store championship with my deck, but there were two people in the entire tournament. One versus Red Deck. Hey, you know what? Let me say this. I don't know if I showed this. Hold on a second. Y'all are going to probably get to see my messy room. I don't know how this camera's set up, so we'll get lucky here. All right, nope, you get the same view. All right. I'm going to tell y'all for real. If you can build a standard deck affordably, you should right now. And don't get me wrong, I've always liked standard. But Wizards is giving away dumb prizes for standard stuff. I've played in 3 or 4 standard store championships or whatever now. One of them, I got the Dothy Voidwalker promo, which is worth like $120 or something, which is crazy. And that one only had like 8 people or something. And then I played in this other one that also didn't have a lot of people. And I got one of these, which apparently goes up. Is this upside down? It is upside down. Which goes for like $150. I don't even know if I can get it in a shot. But it's a oversized Resplendent Angel alternate art. And these oversized cards always go for like between like $150, $200 or something if they're good ones or hard to get. So most stores are practically just giving this stuff away because they're trying to get more people drummed up playing standard. So if you can even just build a standard deck, it's at least worth going to your local store because like William was saying, there's a lot of stores that they only get 2 people, 4 people, whatever it is, and they're still giving away the prizes. So, I mean, if there's only a couple of y'all, your odds of getting something are real good. Oh, man. 2012, me would watch competitive meta deck content. 2024, me definitely prefer janking off meta. Yeah, and it makes sense, right? The way you're engaging with the game is different. And that's totally legit. Now, don't be wrong. If your aspirations are to be on the pro tour and whatever, like I would generally say you shouldn't be watching most content creators because most of us are going to be making content to entertain, trying a bunch of different decks and weird cards or whatever that you're not going to play against in the actual meta. You should be watching people like Seth Manfield, Reed Duke, Paulo Vitor Damarosa. Like those are the people, like the top 20 players in the world that are making content, Andrea Mengucci, whatever. Go watch those people because their thoughts, their strategy, that's going to be more the thing. But they'll also be streaming and grinding a deck they're working on or whatever for like a week straight, right? Like they're doing it with purpose. That's also not their main gig. For those of us that are creators and we make our money making content, like we're going to be making a variety of stuff, right? That's how we're going to get paid. So our content isn't going to be good for those people. So them being bothered that we're not making that type of content says that they don't even understand what they need to be doing. The same way that I've said before on video, right? People say, "Oh, well, I wish you did more strategy videos and whatever." Like most people don't watch that. And the reality is, and I'll say it again for people, but there's really 2 problems. The tryhards that need to watch it and would benefit from it are not going to watch it because they think they're already too good or better and don't need that type of content. The other people who would probably benefit from it, being newer players or whatever to understand the game and the strategy better, don't even know the game well enough for the terminology to even know what they should be looking for. So you end up making content that can't reach these people because they don't even know how to find it, but then it won't reach these people because they're just not going to watch it. So your piece of the pie becomes a very small sliver, and it's not as good as if you just make a deck and then people click on it because they want to see a deck, right? And they want to see gameplay. So that's why you get more gameplay content than anything else. But again, there's people like Paulo Vitor Damarosa that are out here making fantastic strategy videos that should be getting 50, 100,000 views per, because you're talking about one of the top 5, if not top 3 players ever, and people still don't watch it, which is crazy to me. Because if I was trying to like grind the pro tour, or whatever, I would literally look up all the best pros, and I would probably be watching more of their content than anything else. But people just don't. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Playing best of 3 will help avoid certain matchups, like Burrows Convoke, Mono Red. That's probably true on some level. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Besides the packs and gold, does getting Mythic get you anything special? Not really. If you get into the top 1,200, you can qualify for the end of month tournaments that get you qualified for the arena championships and stuff like that, where you can win real prizes and stuff. And those actually are legit goals for people. And the prizes are legit. I mean, real piles of money. I mean, they're worth it. But here's the other secret too, which is why I tell people making content at Mythic isn't that important as a creator, because most of the games you play at Mythic are worse than they are at Platinum and Diamond. Because at Mythic, you run into more people that are just testing stuff, playing things, whatever. Because once they've made Mythic, they've already gotten everything they can get for the month, right? So now they can play their pet deck or whatever and just have fun. Because again, unless you're going to put in the work to stay in the top 1,200 and grind it out, you're not going to gain any more being, 98% or even 75%. You're all getting the exact same thing. So most of the games at Mythic, like seriously, watch a lot of the games people play at Mythic. A lot of their opponents' decks are not great. And they're sometimes, many times, going to be decks you're not likely to run into. That's just a thing. So when people are like, "Oh, why aren't you at Mythic?" It's like, and I've seen it too with like LVD and whatever. Like, sometimes Swayze, whatever, some of these other guys that are making great content. It's like we're just not at Mythic because sometimes we're just testing other things on the ladder and killing our rank. But we can get to Mythic if we really want to. They're just not a huge benefit. And I can tell you for myself, I purposely labeled some of the stuff when I'm at Mythic as Mythic and even use Mythic logos and whatever, and it doesn't change my views. So there's really no reason for me to race to Mythic. Like when I see people going, I made Mythic in 3 days or whatever, like, all right, cool. Like I don't know what the benefit is. But there are people that view it as being better, and I guess that's something. I've been in the top 250 before. Getting top 250 or something doesn't get you play points. Yeah, I've been there before. I think I only played one of the end of month tournaments though, or end of season tournaments. I've never been first. I've been like 14th and 17th and whatever. I've been low double digits, but I don't think I've ever been in the top 5. But I think I only really pushed hard for it one time. In the last 3 months, I did one store championship and one standard showdown. I don't blame you. Like I said, prizes are good. Get 60 oversized cards and make an oversized deck. I already did that with the 6x9 cards, actually. They used to have those available. They used to come in like comic books, magazines. You used to get them at special events. They were giveaways for like arena. When they used to have a thing called an arena league, that was a thing. And I have some probably buried in my closet somewhere. But yeah, a full 60 cards of just 6x9s. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. But on YouTube, you have to be enter entertaining. Yes. Well, I would say that. I think depending on the type of content you make, you have to be more entertaining or not, right? Like if you're doing instruction or strategy for whatever it is that you do, then you just have to be interesting enough, right? Or be enough of an enough of an expert at the thing that it justifies you doing what you're doing and people to put up with you, basically. Right. But if you're not that, then you do have to be some level of entertaining. And everybody's got their own gimmick, right? Like I'm the chill guy that tells you random things about the industry and whatever that because I've been in it forever. Like that's my shtick, right? If you're somebody like Malone, you're loud and you're punk rock and you're zombies and whatever. Like that's his thing. Like everybody's got something. Voxy's basically, 15 squirrels in a human suit. Whatever it is that you do, right? Like everybody's got a thing. And that's okay, right? You find your audience. And they're going to be different sizes and people are going to want different things, and that's totally okay too. I just wish more people watch my videos. That's all. My biggest setback for tournaments is time needed to go deep. Yeah, that's exactly it. I think for a lot of people, if you really narrowed it down, the time is more than the money issue when it comes to being competitive at anything, right? Because you have to put in the time to understand all the intricacies that make you give you the ability to be good at whatever you're trying to do. To put in perspective, this is years ago, but I had a friend who they were trying to be a top level, I believe it was Call of Duty. It was one of the first person shooter things, but they had their like 5-man team with a couple of alternates or whatever. And they literally had practices set up like a football team. They're like, okay, today we're going to get together at this time. We're going to work on using pistols in these maps or whatever. Okay, cool. Today we're going to get together and we're just going to test headshots. Like by the time they get to tournament time, they literally know if they even need to attempt to give away their position because they know if they can make a headshot or not with your distance and whatever weapon it is. Right? But they put in a like 2 days worth of time with 6 different people and that's all they did. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to do that. Same thing with Magic. Like, people want to just copy a deck and then go play a tournament. Now, don't be wrong. If you played for years and it's a deck strategy you're already comfortable with, whatever, you can probably do that. But for the average person to just pick up a deck because, like, this is the best deck and I should play that. And then they go like 0 and 4 and they don't understand. It's like because you didn't put in the time to practice it, to understand the matchups and what cards you're worried about from the opposition and how you should be sideboarding. And you probably didn't bring any snacks and drink to make sure you were good throughout the day for like a 10-hour tournament day or whatever, right? There's all these things when ultimately you can still just buy a deck, right? If you have the money, there's a bunch of people, even if we say it's expensive, there's way more people just go out and buy a deck, but they don't have the time to get good with that deck. And that's the real issue. I've heard that the platinum grind is the most meta focus, though maybe not always piloted at the most competitive level. It's probably arguable between platinum and diamond, but definitely not mythic. Mythic is way weaker. Boom, 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 boom. I had the same feeling. Platinum way harder than diamond, and diamond the decks become usually the same, and the matchups are more predictable. I don't know. I mean, either or. Like I said, I could coin flip either of them, and I think they're pretty competitive. Oh, somebody like my 15 squirrel. Hey, Voxy's cool, and I'm not hating. That's just her gimmick. She's loud. I still think you and Jim Davis are the best creators to welcome new players. Jim Davis is great. Like I would say, if you're looking for a person who is at least in tune with the competitive scene, but still can give you entertainment for just random decks on YouTube, Jim is probably the best middle ground because he's obviously a top level pro tour, but he's been on the tour for the last several years, right? He's won money in the last, hell, I don't know how many tournaments, right? He's on a pretty good streak right now, and he's qualified, I think, for the next 3 right now based on his points. So he's got that understood, and he knows the behind the scenes, and he gets all that. But he also understands like picking different decks and trying stuff out, and he does his what's it called? Because he doesn't do Mog Mondays anymore, but he does the like tested brews or whatever he has, and he does all that stuff. So like you can still get a variety from him while getting that. He's probably the best middle ground, which again, you would think he would be one of the bigger channels because of all the things he brings from a competitive aspect and the things he can talk about. But that's not a draw for, even though people say they want it, that's not as big of a draw as it should be. I bet he does more just making his daily gameplay videos. Oh God, snacks and drinks, and now I'm getting PTSD. Yeah, literally, I'm getting a new backpack for when I travel and do events, or whatever, because the one I have now is great for carrying all my gear whenever I need to set up at hotels and make content or whatever. But it doesn't have a pocket to comfortably hold a water bottle, and that's a thing. Like I'm always carrying one around, or I had like a carabiner or something or whatever. But like I want to just have a pocket on my bag where I can just have a water bottle. And I always have like either granola bars or gummy bears or whatever, just something for a quick snack while I'm there. Because like even now, when I'm not playing tournaments, when I go do a Command Fest, which by the way, if you're going to be in Command Fest Tacoma next weekend, I'll be there on Saturday, Sunday. You should come by and say hi. But those days are for real. Sometimes I don't know, like I'm there for like 12 hours. I'll get there 9 or 10 o'clock. I'm there all the way till right before they close at the end of the night at like 10 or 11 o'clock, right? Sometimes I'll get a moment to sneak off, grab a bite. Sometimes I don't. So I want something in between just to hold me over. Everybody should be doing that when you go to conventions, when you go to tournaments, when you go to Command Fest, whatever it is, because you just don't know. Sometimes days get long. Hell, sometimes I've offered it to other people because I'm good, but they didn't bring nothing out. You can tell their blood sugar's getting low or whatever. I'm like, hey, man, I have some of these gummy bears. You're out. Well, I'll see you later, Joe Foltz. But all right, let's see what else we've got in here that we're messing around with. Let's play this big dumb graveyard pile because this is another one that's kind of, I don't know. Maybe that Doc Arlock deck could be good enough to make the video. By the way, I have a video up today. It went up 48 minutes ago. That honestly, I don't know if AI made that deck or not. Like you'll understand when I show you the video and why. But the fact that the deck even worked was surprising to me, honestly, which was kind of crazy. But we'll see if people like it or not. I don't know. It's one of those things like, all right, well, yeah, that opponent conceded. It's like I have weird stuff. Oh, apparently people really like this video. Weird. All right. Well, I never know what people are going to click on, man. Like it's a random Simic deck. It plays weird cards. It plays Elvish Archivist. So if you like that card, it's in the video and you should check it out. Um, it's weird, but it's the first time I've had played a deck where Elvish Archivist made the most sense. Like it's the card for that deck, but it's weird. New York needs some sort of Magic convention sooner or later. Here's the thing, Tony, is the problem with that is that New York is pricey for a lot of things in a lot of places and for a lot of people compared to other places they could go. And also, if I remember right, New York has some odd union rules for some stuff at events as well, which can make it hard for setting things up, if I remember right. So like there's some issues. I mean, and New York's a cool city. Don't get me wrong. Like I've had fun there in the past. Yeah, we don't even need to bother with that in this thing. They can have that. Um, but yeah, I don't. It's kind of the same reason when you see stuff, it's labeled New York, New Jersey because they do it in New Jersey most often. But I don't know what it would take to get a big event to New York right now. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't even know what the best facilities would be to use in New York. Whereas a lot of other cities just have some good convention centers to use. Like I don't know what the equivalent event centers would be to use in New York. Because like most cities I've traveled in, I'm like, oh yeah, I know this big convention center, or I know how to get to it from airports and stuff or whatever. I don't know the logistics for New York these days. But I haven't been to New York in a very long time. Yeah, New York Comic Con though ain't cheap either. I mean, people already gripe about the cost of Magic events, and Comic Cons are getting pricey now too. Oh, what's going on here, opponents? Well, I guess I'll take it 3 steps ahead. And the other thing too is like Magic events aren't large enough, I don't think, in a lot of cases, to take advantage of a lot of the largest convention centers. What does this guy do? Whenever an aura enters a battle, you draw a card. Oh wow, this is a weird deck. Should I be going with one of these? Like, what does next turn look like if I do that? Probably not. I'm just gonna pass. We'll try to counter something. The next turn I'll probably just play invasion plus gnawing vermin. Oh yeah, I ran events at Acon for many years. Um, one of the things though that the reason those events can get away with it is because they're often expecting much larger numbers than a Magic event's going to bring. Like, to think about it this way, MagicCon Chicago was a big MagicCon, and I believe the final number was somewhere between like 12 or 13,000 people. Which, don't get me wrong, it's not like that's a small number, but when you compare to the fact that like Comic Cons expect to see like 100,000 people or whatever, like even Gen Con does like 70 or 80,000 people, right? So they can justify those bigger spaces because even though they cost more, you're getting such a huge number of people that you can get away with it. And the tough part for something like Magic is that convention center space doesn't scale, right? It's not like do I just mill ourselves, I guess. Wait. Oh, yeah. What happened? Oh, I thought I clicked on myself. Okay, I did. There we go. Like, if it scaled correctly or normally, then it would kind of make sense. The problem is convention centers know that, oh gosh, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna have to waste some kill spells. I'll just take it, I guess. Convention centers know that the largest spaces they have are going to go to like car conventions and doctors conventions and things like that, right? Magic is definitely not that. So you get in these weird spots where if they need space for a magic convention, you're not able to get the number of people that hits that appropriate scale or charge enough that you can offset that. So I think that's why you end up in some spots where they just can't use some of the convention centers. Yeah, we're just gonna pass and then attempt to kill Calyx when they try to put the Catilda on it. At least that's the game plan. Well, that sucks. Okay, then you get a card. I'm gonna end up having to kill Calyx anyway. Oh, why did I do that? I forgot they were gonna get a +1/+1. That's fine. Let's just kill it. We'll discard a card. I do have an Otawara in hand, so it's not like the worst thing. Though I'm not gonna be able to do anything about that next turn. I'm gonna have to leave Otawara up, unfortunately. Yep, we're gonna take a big hit here. I'm gonna take a 7 ball. But that's okay. That was all part of our plan. We'll attack one of these. Um, if I do this, I can still Otawara? Yeah, that seems cool. Wait, what is this protection from? Protection from vampires. All right, cool. I will sack this. Nice. Unfortunately, they will definitely have an enchantment to put on that before I get to kill it, I imagine. Ah, that guy. Gosh dang it. That sucks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if I don't block, they get another Jukai Naturalist. If I do block, this is a no-win situation, huh? Uh, I mean, I get to kill off 2 Jukai Natural. No, but one of them will get pumped because of Calyx. Gosh dang it. All right, sure, I'll block. I'm your Huckleberry. That sucks. All right. We can make them discard a card. I can kill this Naturalist. And they don't have anything to copy. I mean, I guess that's a thing. Probably better off just playing this. All right, pass the turn. I can at least try to block Calyx unless they draw another enchantment here. Well, they can go get an enchantment. So that takes that play off the books. But you're also seeing why this is a deck that didn't make a video because it's not very good. Buried in the Garden. That's a great card here. All right. We've effectively lost now. I mean, I guess we could top deck a removal card specifically for that guy. but we can't survive another attack. We have to get a removal card for Calyx right now. Oh no, we're dead anyway. Yeah, because we can't kill two things, right? I mean, we could block one, but like, does that even do anything? I mean, you're a big blocker, right? How big are you? 14? I mean, that's not nothing. All right. I mean, we'll try to make a go of it. Hopefully, they don't draw another removal spell here. All right, that's fine ish. What's this thing do? As long as you control at least three enchantments, whenever enchantment you get to draw a card. Ugh. All right. All right. Hopefully, it's nothing good. If it is, we're just dead. Like, we're literally on our last legs here. What do we even copy if we get something from their graveyard? Do I have to copy, like, I don't even know. We just copy one of our own dudes, probably. All right, you get that dude. At least we can kill that. Like, that's fine. I mean, I block to gain a bunch of life, but all right, cool. So we're working on a recovery. Bat. Well, you're a little bit late, friend. Um, we make them discard a card, and we could play the bat. They double attack, we block. These things don't have trample. Has indestructible. All right, I think we just got to make an attempt at it, right? Let's go after this one. Oh crap! This has vigilance. Gosh dang it! I could have attacked with that too. That was stupid. That was dumb. Sure. I definitely should have done that. All right. Oh, they have options? Oh gosh. If they have options, this is really bad for us. I don't even know what you're saying, PS4. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, we'll block with this guy. That's fine. Don't think too hard about strategy. I'm not paying attention to a bunch of stuff. We're just talking and goofing off. I only have 24 cards left. I have to mill them, I think. Uh, I can get back an instant or sorcery. Let's see if we find a kill spell. Nope. We got a whole lot of nada. Okay, well then. All right. I mean, I'm already set on these decks aren't good, and my opponent's deck is also not good. So playing top tier strategy is not a big concern here. Let's see what they're drawing though. All right, they got a whole pile of cards here, so they can do damn near anything they want. And all they're looking for, I'm sure, is another way to just exile our 12/12. I mean, they have us covered on just about everything. Oh, now they can start copying enchantments. Yeah, we're toast, right? Uh, I mean, you copy Calyx, but then okay, that is a thing. All right, there you go. That's all we needed out of them. Like, did I have fun? Yeah, enough fun, I guess. Why not? Opponent's deck did some things. But yeah, thinking about it, I really don't know how big a Magic Con would have to be, or a Command Fest for that matter, to justify using a large space in New York. I mean, because it's New York, I don't even know if there's a like you would need a place that holds, like I'm saying, like in that like 15K range comfortably. I don't know what that would even look like. All right, let's go with the bat. Oh gosh, what the what? Um, Strangle, I guess. That's a thing. Hmm. What are they doing? Like we're gonna get wrecked by some big silly spell at some point. Um, I guess we just attack and then mill four. Actually, if I'm gonna do that, let's do this first. Oh, that's an instant. Crap. This one's the one that's a sorcery. Well, that was just dumb. I could have left mana up to counter a thing. Well, I wouldn't have countered Charter Course anyway. You missed neutral ground in the city. I went to neutral ground one time back in '99, actually. All right, we'll attack these. And these are still nothing in the graveyard. Wow, that's not good. All right. I don't know how we're gonna die, but we're gonna die to something. All right, we got two creatures in the graveyard, so that's a thing. That's only a 2/2. Let's just. Can we not cast this? Oh, I always hate when it makes me pay, and I'm like, yes, I'm at 22 life. I'll take a point of damage. Playing Case here. So they obviously want to draw a card. What are they drawing to? That's what I want to know. Like, what's the payoff that we're worried about? What are we going to lose to? That's what we need to figure out. They still only have one red mana, though. Yeah, I don't feel like we can really cast anything here because now I'm kind of terrified about what they're going to do. I mean, I could try to commit to Butler and then play this guy. All right, let's do it. If they just have the cards they need, they have the cards they need. Well, that didn't help at all. Man, what that's such bad luck. This is terrible. I mean, they could have the red card that gives them an extra turn, but what are they doing with the extra turn? Oh, this just bounces stuff? Choose a non-land permanent you control. Yeah, I guess this. Like all our other stuff gives us more plays. Like, was that for real the big thing we were worried about? That was weird. All right, I guess we'll just reset the board then. Hey, we put some creatures in the graveyard. Go figure. All right, go to attacks. I mean, once I have a bunch of stuff in the graveyard, I'd rather just keep like a Somniphage or something. Aye, Smoldering Egg. You never see that card get played. Sweet. Credit to you, opponent, for playing awesome cards. All right, go to attacks, I guess. See what trickery we got. I still don't 100% know what they. Man, I needed another land badly. Here is what I needed. Uh, yeah, I'm just gonna. Why not? You got it. I can live with that. And then I guess I'm just gonna do this. Well, I can again. I can wait. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Smoldering Egg. You got it. See if we can add stuff to the graveyard. Or do we have a counter? What the hell is that? Unauthorized exit. All right. That's a card. Sure. I love when I don't, and I genuinely mean this. Like, I really do enjoy when I don't know what my opponents are doing. It's a random bit of fun. Why would Arena tap like this? Do y'all see this? Arena was going to use my blue mana when I have all these other blue options at hand, and I have multiple. Like, why are you like this some days, Arena? I don't understand. I'm just going to pay 3 life here. Let's kill this thing. All right, go to a taxis. Play this monster. All right. I love that somehow this deep cavern bat's just been trucking and doing his thing. Yeah, like this whole time. They got all the mana to do whatever crazy. Seize the storm. Here we go. So they're creating a token. And I deal 1 there. That's fine. That doesn't really matter. You can have that back. All right. So this thing's a 10/10. Tough is equal to the number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard. Sure, why not? Um, then what do I want to do here? I need to think about this. So you can flash that back for 7, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're definitely going to try to flash it back. So then the play should just be to do again, Arena, stop. We're just going to play this, and then I will pass. So now we at least force the opponent's hand to do something here. You're going to Scorching Shot, sure. And then Strangle. I'd rather you not. Since now we know they can't do the other thing till next turn, I'm okay with this. That thing does trample, but, we're at 20, so we don't care. All right. So now we just work on attacking because they only have 1 blocker. There you go. So yeah, this deck's pretty trash. Like, I don't think this is a winning strategy. And plus, there's so many things that remove stuff from the graveyard. I mean, I'm guilty of even playing a bunch of frillbacks that just remove the whole graveyard, which makes, you know what? As much as I'm a big fan of frillback, we do have too many things that remove graveyards, right? Because we have frillback. I think there's the elf that does it. There's unlicensed hearse. There's farewell. There's the cauldron that people play a lot of. There's just a bunch of cards, man. They just the werewolf, though that's rotating soon. But like tons of cards that remove stuff from the graveyard. That just makes graveyard strategies not work. Tony the Pokemon God says, I went to my first big Magic tournament in neutral ground. Got stomped by extended mono blue Morphling. Here's my neutral ground story. Was in New York for that Pro Tour 99. It was the first Pro Tour I was going to, actually. And leading up to it, I had practiced a bunch and played in a bunch of tournaments. So I was winning lots of product, but I didn't really need it. So I decided to just save it. Figured I'd take it with me. And at the time, you'd have a lot of people on the side that would do money drafts. They pair off in either pairs or trios, and they would play against the other team for some amount of money. Winning team gets the money or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'll at least sell cheap packs to the people. Hey, a new follower, thanks. I would at least sell those packs to people, and I'll just make money for that, and I'll have spending money while I'm there. Coincidentally, when I went to neutral ground the first night I was there, for some reason or another, they were low on packs, and they had a bunch of people who wanted to draft. So I was like, oh, hold up, I got you, right? So I literally just opened this backpack that's just loaded with packs, and they're like, what? And I explained it to them, like, all right. So they basically bought my packs at like cost plus like 20%. So like they still make a little money, I make a little money. But then that was all how I had spending money for Pro Tour New York. I actually sold a bunch of stuff to neutral ground at the time, which is kind of crazy. I have been pack Oprah before. Funny as that is. And my goal is also eventually to do stuff for people in like my Discord that are really active, friendly, helpful, whatever, like at the end of the year, stuff like that. Give stuff away to those people. Also working on different things as rewards for people that are YouTube channel members, stuff like that. So if you want to support your boy, YouTube memberships are a thing, and you get a lot of benefits depending on what level you're at. Also, I have merchandise. I don't know some of y'all know that, but if you're on YouTube, there's a link, and you could check out my merchandise. Should be below every video though right now. I also have. I think I have to copy this fourth wall link if you just want to see it directly and buy something for yourself. And I even have some stuff that's not like gamer PowrDragn branded real heavy. So if you want just like a cool thick tie-dye shirt, whatever, that just looks like a normal sweet shirt, that's in there too. Because I know some people like supporting stuff, but they don't want everybody to know that they're like a gaming nerd. So I try to get you covered that way too. Here you go. Got you a little something something. There you go. So there, that'd take you to my actual shop if you want to check out stuff there. I'm gonna be adding. Ooh, I wonder if I should show y'all. It's a late night stream. All right. I'm y'all that are here right now, y'all are getting a sneak peek. I'm gonna go. I need to go check a message from one of my artist friends real quick because I think I have the latest design. It's not colorized yet, but I'm gonna save this image and then I'm gonna open this up. I think I can just open it as an image on here for y'all. Let's see, image. Okay, and then we'll grab this thing. So this is cool. And this is going to be one of those ones that like I want to start making stuff that if you just see it, it's cool. But if you're a gamer, magic nerd, whatever, like you really get it. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. This is what we're working on. And if you know, you know, looking at it. But I think this is cool, even with it being like Pride Month and all that. Like this is just a cool thing that I think I don't know if we're gonna get it done by the end of the month because she's gonna be busy doing some things, but we might have it by the very beginning of next month. But I also want to get one so like y'all can see me wearing it, whatever first, and then we'll turn this into a thing that y'all could actually buy. But yeah, this is cool. Like this is one I feel like if you just saw somebody wearing it, you'd be like, oh, it looks like deranged, you know, what do you call it? Ransom note, whatever, just be different school. But if you're a magic player, like you get it. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of into this. So I'm working on some other ideas and some designs like that. It's kind of like how I had the like outwork everybody shirt that is still available. So like it's a thing that like it's just a cool saying and it looks neat, but if you know where it comes from and the creator, then it's like, you know, a whole different thing. So working on some stuff like that. Um, but yeah, because I don't think all the merch you make has to be just game specific. It could be cool for people who don't necessarily play your game, you know, and they just like you and want to support you. So kind of doing some fun stuff like that that's out there. I think as creators, we should be thinking bigger picture a lot of the times. And I think a lot like it's easy to want to just throw your brand on everything or the game you play on everything. But sometimes it's like there's ways you can do it and still have it appeal to other people. It's like the thing where I have like the mugs you can get with the kangaroo that just is always moving forward, right? If you know the origins of my stream being a bunch of people from Australia and New Zealand, that was a tribute to them being some of my first stream viewers from Australia because Australia's national animal is a kangaroo. And I think technically also ostriches, but kangaroos, and they choose them because they only move forward, you know, which is just a cool philosophical thing that I think is just neat. So I made some merchandise with that on it, and you know, it's a tribute to them, and it's cool. So even if you don't know the origins of it, you just see a cool mug that says always moving forward. So it's also like a fun gift to give to people as like a positive affirmation, you know, while still being a cool thing. So I don't know. I just like thinking about stuff that way sometimes. Let's see. Let me dig in. Y'all, people seem to be really liking today's video, which is wild to me, but I appreciate it. Like that went up like an hour ago. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, let's see what else we got in here hiding out. Weird fact about kangaroos is they're built. Yeah, kangaroos are stout. Like kangaroos have evolved to know that they can drown you. Did y'all know that? Like kangaroos will literally like if they got you near water, they will put and not only that, their arms are tough as hell, but they will literally drown other animals and people or like they'll dunk you. Like kangaroos are kind of effed up. They're badasses. And my understanding from my Australian friends is they're basically considered like varmints or whatever, those and wallabies. So if now I don't know how true this is. They might have just been messing with me because I'm a dumb American. But they said, like, say you're trying to go to work and you can't get out of your drive because like there's just a kangaroo that won't move. Apparently, there's I guess like the equivalent of their like wildlife folks, like their wardens or whatever, will come out and they'll just unalive a kangaroo to get it out of your way. Cause I mean, there's no other way to really deal with them, I guess, which is crazy, but you do what you got to do. What other older weird decks do I have just kind of sitting in here that we haven't messed with? Okay. Here's one. Here's one I almost made a video of actually. Let's play this thing. This is one because I was looking for a way to play Solfum of Dominus. Because that's like the one card of those I think that I've never played with. And I wanted to give this one a shot. Survival of the fittest. Yeah, kangaroos are serious. But to be fair, a lot of stuff in Australia is randomly dangerous. Oh, so they told you that too? All right, so they weren't just messing with me. That's like a real thing. All right. Also, by the way, like Australia is one of those countries. I don't know, maybe like everything just being awful there, trying to kill you, makes you nice. But I feel like so many people I've met from Australia have been super friendly. And New Zealanders are even friendlier. Like I honestly want to go to New Zealand at some point. Oh, weird. Okay, well that was crazy. Because literally everybody I've met from there is super nice. So I'd almost want to go there just to be around the people. Also, at one point, they were like the only place to literally have eradicated COVID. Like they had these crazy tracking systems. Like they would track all the way back to like where you came from, what building you're in, what elevator you used, whatever. And they had eliminated COVID off, I guess, off the island because it's basically what it is in New Zealand. But like that's wild. Like the fact that they were even that efficient about doing things, like that's another reason. Like I'd love to be part of that. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Yeah, we'll keep this. We have all our mana at least. Oh, we got a Sulfum and we got a Terror of the Peaks. Maybe that's something. Oh, this Abraid's gonna get to do the king's work. Oh, and we got Roxanne. Oh my god, we can do so much damage with Sulfum if this works out. Oh, Inti. Well, that's not great. Hmm. Hmm. I guess I'd rather kill Inti now, huh? Though if I leave them with Inti, then they get a card. That's all right. I'd rather just kill this. Now, okay, hold up. If you're gonna be the jerk that gives the your go, and then they kill your one creature and you concede, like you know you look dopey, right? Like we are like your go, and I'm like, fine, I'll just kill your creature. Never mind, I'm out of here. Like what? Like you're playing this hyper aggro whatever thing, and just like, oh, gotta love it. Kiwis have their pride in one thing, and that's rugby. Oh, that's true. I only know that because one of my friends was from Guam, and he talked a lot about some of the different. His brother was I think, a national rugby player, and he talked about some of the different international things. And what's funny is, y'all are gonna love this. Like close friend, like for years, but we used to make fun of him because we just made fun of each other. So anytime we told people where he's from, we would call him a Guamunist. Like we didn't know what people from Guam were called. I don't know why that tickled me so much, but we referred to him as a Guamunist, and it was like one of the dumbest things. All right. Jolene plus Sulfum's almost a thing. All right. I think Jolene's just gonna take one for the team, sadly. Because if your opponent's not casting anything with red and black, they're just setting up to kill a bunch. Oh my gosh, triple dominus? That can't be good. All right, I'm gonna pass the turn. Go, what's the opponent doing here? Red and black aren't flashing anything in. We'll take our time. Oh, Phyrexian Arena. That sucks for us. All right. Well, their deck might just be better than ours. Ooh, no lands. Gross. Uh Man, I really want terror, but I also really need mana. So decisions just get made for us sometimes. All right. I guess we'll see Shieldred here. And then I guess we'll just have to figure out a way to deal with it. Not yet, we won't. Liliana, boy, I got cards to discard, let me tell you. I mean, can we even do anything here with them having... Oh, actually, Ruby's kind of a cool card. So we play this, we get a 5th mana. We could Jolene plus Ruby. We'll get a card. We get to attack Liliana for 3. All right, we got to do what we can do here. It's not great, but got to try. This gets us a card. And unfortunately, this only hits creatures. You're cute, but I don't see that coming into play here anytime soon. Man, opponent's playing real... How did we get paired? Oh, it's probably because we have, like, the Smuggler Surprise and Terror of the Peaks and stuff here. Because I'm like, how do we get paired up with this opponent? Like, for real, for real. Sure. We'll sacrifice this. Even though I probably should keep that for mana reasons. Opponent wants to keep their hand too. That's interesting information. All right. We'll go with this and get a card. Hopefully an untapped land. It is. We'll have to take 5 damage to protect the Sulfum, but hey, it's a thing we get to do, right? Okay. End the turn. We have 5 mana. I don't know what we can really do with that. I'm going to take the biggest pile of damage here. And, oh, I guess technically I can get colorless from that. And I will discard this and this, because I'm assuming I can't hit anything with that. And then they have another instant. Of course they do. Oh, see, now this is weird because, like, I kind of want to keep the Sulfum, but I know I have another one. Oh, geez. I'm gonna get rid of the Trailblazer. I've already spent the card. I've already put too much investment into this guy. Like, it's not great, but it's the thing to do. All right, in the turn. Well played by the opponent, though. Yeah, Shieldred's annoying, but that's fine. They didn't kill our creature, so that was good. Ooh, Jolene, though. That's sweet. Not what we're going to go for right now, but cool that it's an option. Let's get rid of Liliana. We get to play a land, and yeah, we'll just attack, because why not? This thing's indestructible. Like, what else are we going to do? All right. Junji, whoa. Well, now I don't want Terror or Tyrant to die. That's unnerving. Okay. Wow. Problems, team. All right, this gets us 1 life because we gain 3, lose 2, right? We can attack. Sulfum, Jolene does a thing. Tyrant. Our stacks first, then theirs from things dying. So they would be able to get a Tyrant? That kind of sucks. I mean, we could remove the Tyrant. I mean, I guess that's a thing. All right. I think we still got to do it. They're only at 10. And we can shoot them for 2 because of Jolene's ability. And we get to trample. Wait, whoa. We're going to trample for 1, 7. That's not going to get us there. Opponent says GG, though. All right, cool. Oh, didn't even see Asavera there. Right? Yep. Well, it's good to have you in the stream. I'm glad y'all like these late night streams. I don't know how often I'm going to do these. I might, because I've been doing some impromptu like afternoon streams, which have been pretty nice. Had some people leave some nice like little bonuses, I guess if you want to call it, and a couple of super chats, and that was nice. But I don't know. Sometimes it's also chill to be on late night and just hang out with y'all. So what's funny is 2 of the decks of the 3 that were trash actually won some games, which is silly. One of them though was absolute trash though. We're gonna mulligan this one. That doesn't really do much. We'll keep this, get rid of this, and see what we can do. Oh, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. If this is just, oh my gosh, it probably is. All right. I don't know if I want to grind out a game on the play queue, y'all. If this comes together where we can do something, sure. But okay, there's a Kellen. That doesn't really tell us much. Because this could just well be like Nissa next turn. Oh, and why are you tapped? All right, we'll do this. At least this lets us remove stuff from graveyard slowly. Or are they just thinking about drawing and they don't have an Nissa? That would be awesome. And that would make life a lot easier. Okay. Boo. All right. Well, that ruins that fun plan. No, I don't mind if they have blue cards, but like this particular deck is literally just like, we're gonna get a bunch of stuff out of the graveyard, we're gonna do this and this, and like, which is fine. Like, they do what they do. Mm-mm-mm. They're gonna return something to their hand, probably Nissa. Yep, as they should. All right, we pass because I can't really justify playing Dominus here. Shigeki, you got it. All right. So they don't have any real answers. They're waiting till they can try to do multiple things with Anissa. That is an interesting card to draw here. I'm going to pass the turn. Because, like, I might use this just to get some creatures in hand. Ill-timed explosion. Yeah, I can't do nothing about that. But if I can get to a 6 land, I can still have, like, Dominus up as an option and still kill Anissa, which would be a thing. All right, we're going to go ahead and See what we can find. Got a terror. Might as well get Rockfall Vale and terror, right? That's very tempting. Play Dominus. Pass the turn. You know Terror of the Peaks is in hand. Now I could have played Terror, but they very likely have the World Souls Rage, so at least here we can protect Dominus and it doesn't die. And then they'll have access to a Virtue next turn, and then things kind of get out of hand, but not a lot we can do about it. All right. And all right, we'll try to kill her again. Okay, so far so good. Ooh, whoa! Was not expecting to draw this. What can we do here? That's only going to be 2 damage though, even with this. So I think we attack and wait. I mean, they might just play Virtue of Strength here, and then we'll have to try to get it done next turn. Oh no! All right. Well, here we go. This is going to be the turn. Think Aftermath Atlas brings everything back. Yep, that is the card. And if they have one of those here, we're probably dead. They're doing the mana, so there's a chance. There's a World Souls Rage. All right. So now I have a real. Oh wait. I don't even have to do that. I can just make this protection so it doesn't die. Hmm. And they're gonna gain 1, 2. They're gonna gain a pile of mana here. I'm just trying to think. Is there a way we could kill them next turn? I don't know that there is. Like if I put this in, I'm dealing 2. That's not enough. I needed Ruby to be another creature. Um all right, here's what we're going to do. I think this is the best course of action here. And this because it doesn't resolve because it has hexproof. Never mind. I wasn't even thinking. I'm an idiot. Oh, fantastic. So now we do this. We get to kill her. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5. Yeah, no better way to do that, really. All right, let's just do this. Let Roxanne kill this because it deals 4 because of Dominus. And then we'll attack. All right. Whew. Is there a point in the game you'd want to drop creatures and try to win before they do their thing? Not really, because it's too easy for them to be able to win. Like I would do it if I didn't have the damage spells in hand, but because I had them, I can just keep disrupting what they're trying to do. So it's better to do that because I can almost win in one, or in this case, like 2 attack steps if I wait anyway. Whereas if I had been playing my creatures out, they could have had a turn where they just went off with Nissa. They could have wiped everything out with the ill-time explosion. They could have killed something if I don't have mana up with World Souls Rage. You know, that whole thing. Oh yeah, opponent's definitely way dead here. Because that's 9. She's gonna deal 4. That's 13. Oh no, actually they're gonna gain more life here. So they're not dead. They're 14. They're well, nope, we have this too. Never mind. We have all of this. We had all these. Yep. Target attacking creature, target the opponent. All right, GG's. Whew, that was a tough one. But Solfum did a thing. There you go. You got to see Solfum in action, actually doing extra damage with Roxanne that actually made a difference and allowed us to win that game. Yeah, so there you go. There's a lot of decks you can build still. I mean, I have a Geared deck, which is probably going to be on the channel in the next couple days. Basically, like Geared Legends, making copies of stuff with Urbrass Forge, Obnixilis. If you can make multiple Obnixilis tokens, like that's a silly thing. So like doing some silly stuff there. Again, playing Legion Extruder because I'm a big dumb fan of that card. What else do I have in here? There's just all kinds of decks, y'all. War Leaders Control. Oh yeah. That's like a Boros control that plays War Leaders Call to try to kill people with Song of Totentans. I think somebody submitted this during one of our live streams a while back, and I just did an updated version of it. What else do I have hiding down in here? I feel like I've deleted so many decks already this season. Oh, this was a weird one. I saw this from somebody online named Hamhawks, but it played like Tatiova, Steward of the Tides, to turn your lands into 3/3s, and then was using Oko to get Elks. Like this was like a crazy pile. Then you like Doppelgang to make extras of all your creatures. Like I don't know what all was going on with this thing. This looks crazy. I don't know if that's even playable, honestly, but it looked cool. So sometimes I just tuck it away and make a note for the future in case. It's like, well, maybe we play this at some point. I don't really know. By the way, thanks to all of you wherever you're watching, because I know some of you are watching on Twitch, some of you are watching on YouTube, some of you are watching on Twitter, even though some people refer to that as X these days, which still feels weird. You know, like here, you know what? The weirdest thing is that usually when you change branding, it's for some type of promotional or partnership or legal reason or whatever. But Twitter had built such recognition with the name Twitter. Right? It even made sense, right? You have tweets that go out and because it's a bird and all that. And it was the little blue bird, and everybody was recognizing that. And they were making products and things that had like the Twitter logo on it. And then you get this X, which one is hard to search for, and it's just a generic looking X. It's not even like a stylized X. Like all these weird things around it. It just doesn't make sense. I almost wish he would sell it to somebody and just turn it back to Twitter. Right? Like just rebrand it back to what it used to be, and people would probably be happy. That'd probably be like a big resurgence for Twitter, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if it went down that way. But it's whatevs. What is the fish deck? It's just generic merfolk. Also, I don't think is good enough to play on the ladder. It's one I've messed with. I keep coming back to, but I never dedicate to playing it. I just don't think it's that good. I like it. It still can win. Don't get me wrong. Like it probably needs like a 3 steps ahead in here somewhere, but just play Make Disappear and Spell Pierce, so you have a shot. And then you could combo if you get researchers out, tap and untap, multiple times, do your thing. So like that's also possible with the Deep Root Pilgrimage. You can just make a bunch of 1/1s. So like that's a combo-y thing. It's in there. Again, is it any good? I have no idea. We haven't played any of these and tested them. Maybe I'll do that. I'll make that my last play of the night here. Last deck we're gonna play. Let me go dig that up and we'll try it. But this is the thing, like what I was saying earlier, when y'all see these decks, you're seeing like the version of the decks that we played that day that actually turned into a real thing. Sure, we can do a bad joke. Let's go for it. This is I guess technically keepable. I don't think this is a good hand. Actually, I'll just give you one for free here, actually, as far as bad jokes. because I just heard this the other day and I think it's hilariously cute. But oh, hold on a second. I was trying to decide if I should do this or not. Did you hear that Sylvester Stallone's on his third marriage now? Apparently, the first one was Rocky, and the second one was Rocky 2. There you go. There's your bad joke. This removes um mm, 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 ability, but it has to be triggered first. So that's not going to help us. All right, let's see if maybe you'll trade that for this. I don't know that you will, but maybe you will. Oh, fading hope. I'll take that. I would not be sad if you wish to trade. Excellent. I will take that exchange. My Portuguese is not so good, but looks like you were watching from Brazil, and I appreciate that. Oh, real question, actually, while I'm thinking about it. I've been working on some stuff to possibly get um my stuff translated into Portuguese. And I was thinking, because I have a lot of people that watch from South America and from Germany, and I was thinking about doing Portuguese and German, and then just having a separate channel where I load the videos in the local languages. So, would that be appealing for those of you? I should include this in the next video I put up. But if you're from or speak those languages, is it interesting to you to watch it in your local language versus being in English? Because that would be a little bit of work, but if it's beneficial to you, I think it could still be worth doing. Opponents really thinking about this. Wonder if they want to kill something and trigger their thing. Yeah, they do. That's not good. Ugh. All right, we'll see how this works out. They're dealing 3. They get a dude, and they get to discard 2 and then draw 2, but they're only discarding 1. Okay. Well, just closed captions are available, but there is a difference, believe it or not, in how the content can come through and translations being a thing, and um, I guess we're just gonna pass here. But yeah, closed captions always available in my videos. But there's a whole thing that like you can put in your own transcript if you think your transcript's going to be more accurate or whatever. Like that's a thing. So there's a lot of little things that go into doing the whole content thing. Like for example, using Mr. Beast, even though his scale's way bigger than ours, like he literally I think has like 10 different channels for a bunch of different languages, so they're localized, and he even goes out of the way to have voice actors from those regions. Like that's how far he takes it. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. We're not really doing a whole lot here. So you're gonna target our thing. I'm gonna save our thing. And then oh, do I want another one of those on top? I mean, kind of, but I have 2 in hand. Not really. I need to find another land here, really, is what I need. But all right. I mean, we kind of already have combo-y pieces, but still. I'm gonna play this, and I'll target this. All right. I mean, I'm sure this is just gonna die and it's whatever, but we can only do what we can do, you know? I mean, their deck's basically all removal, I imagine, at this point. Mm-mm-mm-mm. But if we lose to this, then that means this deck's probably not great because this deck we're playing against isn't particularly great. I mean, if you have a kill card opponent, just kill my Tidebinder. That is not a kill card. If you commit a kind, target creature you control. Gain your choice of menace or lifelink. Yeah, sure. I'll take 3. Not how I thought that was going to go down, but not mad about it. Okay, so what's the plan here? We can play Deep Root Pilgrimage, start working on making bodies. Do this. One more non-token merfolk. We just pass the turn. We'll see what we can do here. Have I done an Annie joins up for tokens? No, because it's usually just more efficient to not even play Annie joins up in those type of decks. You just need more room for real cards. I think I tried it maybe in the version that had. No, I didn't even play it in that because at that point I think I just played what's his name, um, Jetmir. Oh, interesting. And this says first strike and death touch. Yeah, all right. I'm your Huckleberry. Let's go. I mean, I assume if you had a kill card, it just would have killed Tidebinder at this point. Unless it just like deals 2 to all my stuff, I guess. What even is this card? A magma pummeler? Man, this is why I need to play on the play queue more often. I don't even know what this is. It enters the battlefield with X counters on it. If damage would be dealt to it while it has counters, you prevent the damage, you remove that many counters. When one or more counters are removed, it deals that much to any target. Wow. Okay, cool. Interesting card. Spell Pierce. I don't think that's good anymore with the opponent having that many land. I'm sure I'll be proven wrong very quickly. Um, I can just tap and make dudes right now. I probably don't want to block with Tidebinder at any point. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. I could do this at instant speed. Yeah, I guess it's whatever. All right, pass the turn. All right, bonus down to 1 card. Is it something that scares us? Whenever you commit a crime, put a +1/+1. Oh, okay, I see. So you can pay to do crimey things right now if you want to. That's tough. Yep, all those things happen. Fortunately, we have a lot of life here. Yep, that thing has lifelink. Thanks for the subscriber. Much appreciated. All right. Now we got to figure out our long-term plan to get out of trouble here. Because I don't know what that looks like just yet. I just know that we want it to be a thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a duder. And make a duder. And make a duder. And this thing doesn't have trample or whatever, right? So we'll just block with 1. I mean, they gain life. We'll have to worry about that part later, but and they can't target these because they have hexproof. So they can just deal 1 to us, I guess. Okay. So they're going to target itself. Oh, no, no. Okay. That's what I thought. All right. Talking about a deck that don't work. I've been playing the stupid Naya deck with Bristly Bill Railway Brawler. That's not stupid, really. I mean, I could see a world where that works. Uh, Eddie says, I appreciate your creativity in building decks outside of the metagame. I've always been a casual player. For me, creativity is more important than the competitiveness. That's actually pretty cool. I think quite a few people feel that way, and it's always like a struggle to try and figure that out. Okay. What are we doing here? Still don't think we get to attack. All right, pass a turn. Oh, we got a your go person over here. Well, the good news is if we get to keep our 2 researchers, we can just make infinite 1/1s next turn. And then they're really going to want to your go us then. Okay, Vadmir, that's fine. He's the least of our concerns here. Yeah, I can literally just chump off 1/1s at this point, so I'm not too worried about it. They'll get to gain a bunch of life, but it's kind of largely inconsequential. Yeah, there's no good attack for the 2/2. I'll tell you that right now. Like, I mean, they can just get it back, I guess, so it's whatever. But this only deals damage to players, and this, if we only block with 1, like, what's the point of even? You can't give any. You can give things lifelink or menace, right? Okay, sure. I mean, I'm still just gonna. I guess I'll make a dude. Man, this Tidebinder did a lot of work here, just because they could have like another 5 creatures or something right now. Not that I need to do this all right now, but I'm just gonna do it, you know. Anyway, uh, opponent says GG after giving us the your go. All right, I'm willing to block here. Yeah, you got it. Get all the crime triggers you need. Okay, that was exciting. And a second schooner just because, I guess. All right, opponent's about to get really upset. All right, so we start this by tapping this. And then we use this to untap this. And then we use this to untap this. And we're just going to do this like 30 times. Yep, there we go. Love it. uh, it's funny you say that. I actually have a plan for some merch that's a couple of emotes from Arena. I think it'll be fun stuff. Yeah, you're goad me and then GG'd me. That happened twice tonight. Ryan says, I'm a super creative player, but eventually, if I've been stomped by aggro or mono black for a few games, I just go to my trusty domain meta deck. I mean, that's fair. Like, whatever's working for you, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I don't play them because I just don't want to play a bunch of super grindy games. Like, I'm okay if I run into a deck and the game is grindy or whatever, that's fine. But if I'm playing the grindy deck, that means, like, if I'm testing decks, that's just going to be a boring time for me for like 2 hours, right? If I'm making content, that means y'all would get a video that has 3 games in it, maybe four. Like, that's not super cool either. So that's why you don't see a lot of those on my channel. But I will say this, there's a chance we will play some variety of the Doc Arlock deck on the channel at some point. Maybe the Sulfum deck, because the Sulfum deck is kind of cool. I really need to put some time in it to make it better. I don't know what the final result really needs to look like, but it's very, very close. It's very close. I feel like I just need to go all in and make it more of a smuggler surprise deck, but the spots I swap should be Jolene and Roxanne, so I have more cards to take advantage of Sulfum, I think is what I should do. Uh, Blue white artifacts is super hot right now, and so I mean I've played some of those. I wouldn't say they're super hot. I mean I've run into them like once in the last week on the ladder, but they exist. Need to hop off. Thanks for like, hey, no problem. Thanks for stopping by, Frostbite. But yeah, like blue white artifacts is a real thing. Like we've played some before. And it's actually a real strategy. I mean, you have the 1/2 flyer with vigilance. You've got Skrelv, obviously the enchantment that like bonuses for a number of artifacts and enchantments you control. I guess now you could play the case if you wanted to. Because you're gonna have at least 3 artifacts. So you can turn artifact into a 4/4. It's like there's some cool stuff you could do. Like that's a real thing. I could see that being a deck. And that's, I haven't even played it since the updated stuff came out. So yeah, let me process this deck a little bit more. Like, let's say we lose Gwenna and Annie joins up is fun in here. I just don't know if we really need. Well, I mean, I say that. Getting 2 triggers off Jolene and 2 triggers off Roxanne is actually pretty cool. And having 5 damage to deal to stuff like Shieldred is pretty sweet. But I feel if we're looking for space, we got to cut those, add another Trailblazer, add another Smuggler Surprise, add another Jolene. Does that mean we have to cut Cactus Sure Shots? I mean, if we have to, I understand. I just don't like it. But I think we do kind of have to make room for maybe another Vaultborn Tyrant, so we have more things to hit with Smuggler Surprise. But yeah, I don't know. Some version of this probably works. You're on Is It Artifacts. I think Synth plus Skitter Beam is one of the most powerful things you can do in the format. I mean, it's strong. I don't know if I'd say one of the most powerful, but it's definitely very strong. And Synthesizer, anyway, is a good card. I mean, there's like 5 different decks you can build around Synthesizer. I got a blue-white artifact deck that doesn't use Synthesizer, but counterspells and World Waker Helm 3 steps ahead to get free exiles of creatures, artifacts per turn. I could see that being a thing. That's reasonable. Use the 8/4 He doesn't do anything in this deck, actually. Like, it's good when you can have something with haste, or you're doing a bunch of like hyper aggressive creatures, and then you hit that because they've already dealt with the other stuff. Now they got to deal with this constant 8. Here we have early mana things, and then we're trying to stick a Sulfum, and then whatever. Like, we're kind of doing other things, really. This is just about Sulfum having spells that deal damage, right? So that we could actually like deal 6 instead of 3. Getting double damage off of Jolene triggers, dealing 2 instead of 1. Roxanne dealing 4 instead of 2. Terror just doubling whatever, right? That's what we're aiming to do with the Sulfum. The mole is busted with joins up. Like, I mean, kinda. I mean, if they're blocking, you're probably already winning anyway, Like, there's some situations where once you're already like you're attacking for like 12, even if they chump off some things once they block, like you're doing it again. It doesn't almost doesn't matter that you're getting a third attack step. Yeah, it's almost like if the mole doesn't die, it sort of becomes its own level of inevitability. Even more so if you can give it like indestructible with like smuggler surprise or something or whatever, then it just gets silly. Which, by the way, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, if you're going to be playing, at least these days, something like Tameo safekeeping or whatever, if you're playing a reasonable number of creatures, it might just be better to play smuggler surprise. 'Cause don't get me wrong, it's 2 mana versus 1 mana, but you can save your big creatures anyway, and then you get the upside of maybe getting some free things or finding some. Have a mess with Great Train Heist? Yeah, I put it in like 2 decks a while ago, I think. It was okay. Like, I think it was in one of the decks that just played a lot of artifacts. I'm trying to see if I can remember what I might have deleted that deck already. Let me see if I can go back and figure out which one it was. Um, there's this Max Gifts deck I'm kind of messing around with Comball, but I think it was some other deck that had Comball and Generous Plunder or whatever. Yeah, I don't think I'd remember right off the top of my head what it was, but we definitely played it. It was a fine card. I think I was doing it with like Plunder, Magda, just a bunch of stuff that cared about treasure, but nothing too crazy. Oh, by the way, this is a weird deck I found online. It was a 74 card Gruul deck. Like literally, I'm thinking about making a video with this because it's one of the most ridiculous things I've seen. But like these are the cards that actually played, like Dire Flail, like Invasion of Tarkir, just because I don't even know if it has any other. Not true. It has that sushi, 4 copies even at that. Like Draconic Destiny, I guess just give Anzrag flying. Like I don't know. This is a weird mix of stuff. I don't know why this exists. It does play 29 land. So I mean, it's not wrong, but this is just like weird. Like it has Skitterbeam Battalion for no good reason, just in here. The only real mana ramping is Ruby, but it's playing a fair amount of higher end. Like I don't know. This is the type of stuff I look at and go like, man, this is what people play on the ladder. And this is why when I tell people you will run into things on the ladder that are you'll never run into in a tournament. So to compare the two, it's kind of hard to do. But like it's also weird too. There's like Samit, but you kind of only really have. I guess that's not true. You could Samit into Skitterbeam Battalion, I guess, and get some extra cards. I guess that's possible. Yeah, it's a weird pile of things though. I don't know. I plan on making a video at some point and just letting that be the draw to the deck. It's just like 74 card Gruul, right? Like somebody really played that. I don't even remember. I think I got it maybe off like the deck dump on Magic.gg. But yeah, this is the stuff I'm always looking at. It's like what's out there, what's weird, what's different, what's getting people motivated, what have people done well with that make no sense at all, and then just showcasing it, you know, just to try it, just to see what are we learning from playing these different decks because there's so much out there, man. Like it's easy to get caught up in you can only win with certain cards, but on the ladder you can win with a lot of different cards. By the way, I have different versions of this deck with like either is it or Jeskai play more spells, get more abilities, and I don't like any of them. Like this one, I tried to use Lila and take advantage of all the multicolor stuff, and then I have this one trying to do it a little bit differently and double down on some different spells, but I just haven't found either version that I really like. But I want them to be good. I swear I want them to be good so I can make a video with it. But man, they are not great. They are just really not great. Ever gotten Ariete? I made an Ariete deck last season. It was fine. Like the problem with the card is like it works when I guess when it's working, you're already winning anyway. It felt like. And it doesn't really help you come from behind except for in a few small situations. But also there's like probably 10 better decks to build in black and white. So unless you just really want to do an area thing, there's really no reason to build the deck. Like it's cute, it's cool. I mean, maybe if we get some other cool auras or something in Bloomborough, it might be worth revisiting. But currently it's not crazy. Maybe I could search on my channel, see if I could find the Ariete deck for you. YouTube.com/PowrDragn. By the way, I try to label all the decks by type. So you can always just go to my channel and just search by color pairs and whatever. But it's a lot more difficult. I try to also put the card names in the if they're key cards in the titles. Oh yeah, and I did. Look at that. Not in the titles, but in the descriptions. But yeah, I will copy this link for you. And you can just have this is from like, oh no, 2 seasons ago, actually, I think. But yeah. Here you go. You can just have this. So if you want to check it out, there's an Ariete deck if you want to watch it. And if you want to build it, and it's at least playable. I mean, I will say that. Haven't updated it though with anything from the last 2 sets. But he says, I'm glad I caught your stream. Gonna go watch AI Simic video you just released and then head off to bed. Good night. Thank you for watching the video. That really helped. By the way, if y'all had fun with this random late night chill stream where we're just looking at weird decks, be sure to like this wherever you're at. If you're on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, just hit the like button. Subscribe if you hadn't. That helps out. All those little things at least get it shown to more people. Help me make a little extra money so I can keep making fun videos and streams for you. Have I been able to use Nexus of Becoming? I feel like I had that in a deck already too, but it wasn't really that great. I think I was kind of doing the same thing everybody. Yeah, I put this in a couple things and it's fine. It's not crazy, but it's just okay. I'll probably come around and build another deck with it down the road. I just didn't like anything I was like I didn't feel like I was doing anything original with it or interesting. It's just like play the best cards and get big things off Nexus of Becoming for free, you know. The big golem, the hulking goblin or golem or whatever that makes like the 3 little tokens and then you get a 3/3 dino token of a tyrant, stuff like that. And it's okay. I mean, it's not bad, but it's also slower, which is the issue right now. Like, if you're going to play any cards like that, you have to build your deck in a way that you're gaining life or sweeping the board or doing all these other things till you get to that point. The problem, though, is that if you're doing that and you run into a non aggro deck, now you have all these cards that don't really care about what your opponent's doing, and your big things, your opponent just goes, all right, well, I'll just wait till you cash your big like 6 or 7 mana thing, and then they're just countering it or whatever, which is kind of silly. Sandstorm Salvager is pretty cool. I've had that in a deck. I like that card. I'll bring it up on the screen for people to know what we're talking about. But yeah, I played this in a token deck one time that was using, again, I think I had the extruder, but also in a deck, I believe, with Girid, because Girid lets you copy 3/3s and then you can turn your 3/3s into 4/4s and stuff. So totally possible. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying though, Millie, is that like, everybody's kind of doing the same thing with Nexus of Becoming, because like if you get it, you might as well try to get your biggest things cheaply, right? Like that's the goal. But it's fine. I just again, if I do it, like if I was building for myself, there are things I would play, right? But when I'm making content, I also want what you watch to be interesting, right? And if I'm just doing like the big dumb thing, and you kind of get to see that every game. The deck's not built with any variety. That's one of the things that's been fun about doing the different like smuggler surprise decks is there's a bunch of different ways you could do it, and there's different cards. Like you want to stack up +1/+1s, you want to kill people with Calamity, you want to kill people with I don't know, Terror of the Peaks. Now I've got one with like Soulful Dominus, right? So you're getting to see cool interactions and different cards you don't normally see. And that's sort of what I think about as well. Use it to top off my Gruul aggro deck. I see. The thing is, if you were going to do that, though, wouldn't you be better using the dinosaur one? What is that thing that like dinosaur token creature dies? Is the text? Nope. What is that thing? This Skullspore Nexus. This would probably just be better if you're just doing like the creature thing and just saying, all right, when my stuff dies, cool. And if I have a trampler, I just double its power. Because if you are playing like Gruul aggro, you're often going to cast this, I would imagine, for probably like 4 mana, maybe 5. And that's more than reasonable for what you're getting out of it. Now, admittedly, you don't get anything if there's exile or creatures, but people are playing depopulate and things like that. And you end up with like a 7/7 or an 8/8 and get to keep fighting. So like that seems reasonable. Right? I'd rather do that than play the Nexus. Or because like I just feel like you'll just get more value. I mean, you are getting a card off the Nexus anyway. So I mean, there is something to be said for that. But I would at least give this a go. I think this, I mean, if you already don't have the wild cards, you've already crafted Nexus, keep playing Nexus. But if you do have some of these, I would consider playing 1 or 2 of them. It's a thought, anyway. Like in your Nexus becoming into a Nexus unbecoming and go wide. Like you can. That's real. The issue too, though, is do you have time? Right? That's the thing. I feel like this can close the clock still. Just like, okay, cool. My creature's getting through. Now it's dealing 8 instead of 4. Right? And I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like I like the things you can do with Nexus of becoming, but it's just, do I get either and a combination of the right cards and the amount of time to pull that off? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You know. You know what card I never have gotten to work and I want to build a deck before it rotates. But oh wait, is that not it? Oh, because I hate when this happens. Yeah, this Dollhouse of Horrors. Every time I look at this card, I feel like it should be doing something and it just never works for me. I see it work for other people. Like every single deck I've put this in, I end up just cutting it. Like I've had it in ramp decks that can do some silly things with the graveyard. I've had it in reanimator decks. I've had just like so many things, and this card never works. Like and again, I see other people do it, and it's worked, and it does its thing. For me, I have had zero luck with this card since the day it was printed, and I must have tried 20 different decks with it. Maybe not 20. This one I probably tried like 12 different decks, and it just doesn't work. Just doesn't work. And I've even tried playing in other things that make extra constructs, so the things I'm getting are even bigger. Like, I just not a thing. See, like Omen Hawker, I just accept as bad. Like, I looked at Omen Hawker and just went, yeah, not worth the effort. And credit to Jim Davis, he's tried like there's a deck he's been working on. I think he's played 4 different versions of with Omen Hawker, and it's still like got to being barely playable. It's just not a good card. And I think it's because we're in an environment where a 1/1 for 1 is fine, but its upside is very small because you have to like spend a turn or 2 getting some other things out that you can then spend the mana on, but you haven't really done much to your opponent in the meantime, right? You need things that are good on their own as they come out, and then this is a benefit. That, no, I'm telling you, like, that's the deck I'm talking about. You're saying it needs Enigma Jewel. Like, I'm telling you, Jim's deck is probably the best version I've seen of this, and he's iterated on it for like a month plus now, and it's still not good. It doesn't even have that's the thing, though, it doesn't even have to get killed immediately. Like, there's times it sits out on the battlefield for a turn or 2, even if you're moving, like, equipment and stuff around or whatever, like, it's just not enough. The problem with those decks is it just takes a lot to get it to do what you're wanting to do, while your opponents are coming after you with just 1 or 2 cards, forcing you to deal with all their things. When it says, "I use it with Worldwaker Helm deck, get a turn 1 mana crab counter, can feel really good. Win versus control and combo." Yeah, and that's exactly what probably happens. I was just about to say that before I even got to the second half of this. Like, you probably beat the control decks because you're gonna have time to set up. They're not gonna kill your 1/1, whatever. But you're probably just getting run over by the Boros aggro decks, the mono red decks, probably even some of the dinosaur decks. They're just gonna be doing more efficiently than you are, unfortunately. Your version of the deck space around forensic, gadgeteer, and crime novelist. It's fun but bad. Yeah, I could see that. I tried doing some stuff with crime novelists and a goblin deck that also used the new Krenko. For those of you who don't know, in case you don't have these in your collection, that's crime novelist. You sacrifice an artifact, get a +1/+1 counter on this, and it generates a red mana. I was playing this alongside the new Krenko, which ended up being a bit of fun because Krenko says you can sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 on a thing, and then when artifacts put into the graveyard, you can pay a red, and then you can make a 1/1, which you get from your crime novelist, and you can kind of see how that all goes together. So, like, there's some fun stuff. And that's why I tell people, like, don't get down on like trying a deck because it didn't work or whatever. That doesn't mean you're terrible deck builder and whatever. Some cards you're trying hard with that just aren't good, you know? And that's okay. Like, I do it all the time as a creator. Like, that's what part of the stream was about today. Like, you get to see decks that are just sitting in my deck queue that I can never make work, that we really want to work. It's just sometimes just not a thing. Yeah, Gear Drake ended up being just medium. I wanted that one to be better too, and ended up just not making the cut in a lot of my decks. But there's a lot of options. I think it's just slowly figuring out what cards are the best or most important to your deck that you're building with. Do you have enough options to deal with the metagame stuff or the decks you're running into most often? And then, the expected outcome at the end of everything. But yeah, quick reminder, if you're watching, well, we are watching now, wherever you're watching, please remember to hit the like button, or wherever you're at, just give us a good positive thing. Let everybody know that you enjoyed it. Also, if you haven't subscribed wherever you are or followed, I'd appreciate it because that helps us out. Makes it easier whenever we're trying to like make a little money, get a couple of sponsors, that whole thing. All those numbers help stuff look good. So if you haven't done that, please do so. And then if you want to really support your boy, I do have some merch. I think I shared the fourth wall link earlier. I will do that again for everybody. So if you weren't here earlier and didn't see it, boom, boom. And we have fun stuff coming all the time there. But it's a way you get a little something, help me out. Or you could be a member on YouTube where you get to help decide what shows up on the channel. You get access to extra videos. You can even get personalized deck help by being a member on the YouTube channel. So where we're talking about decks and you want somebody to look at it, give you an opinion, maybe even play a little bit, maybe get your deck featured on the channel. That's a thing. Also, in the notes on YouTube, we do have a link to our Discord. Matter of fact, if you're on Twitch, I think I can just still bring that up on here. So you can just go, there you go. All right, that'll get you there. So if you're on Twitch, there's a link. But otherwise, if you're on YouTube, down in the description, it'll take you to our Discord. And if you want to get deck help there, you want to be part of the community, we do a lot of chatting in there. It's a very active Discord with, I think we're at almost 700, maybe like 650, something like that. So lots of people, if you want to come by, check that out. How do I feel about Marchesa, Dealer of Death? I think Marchesa is a fine card. I just think the problem is Marchesa is one of those cards that when she's cooking, it's great, right? You're just going to keep firing off cards and keep getting more stuff. And she's able to dig deeper to keep your hand stocked for you to keep committing crimes. And that's great. The problem, though, at least for me, is when I've killed it, when the opponents have had it, the deck just felt like it buckled. And it just becomes like a bad Grixis deck. So I think the trick would be building the deck in a way that is quality on its own, but happens to play like 3 Marchesa to like supercharge it. I think too many decks have been built with Marchesa in mind, and then when you don't have the Marchesa, the deck just kind of like stumbles. Echoes of Eternity. Pretty sure I've given that card zero thought. Oh, well, if I click the standard button, maybe that helps. Nope. Then I don't even know what card we're talking about. There's Vanish into Eternity. But I don't know anything about Echoes of Eternity. Let's just put an Echo. Maybe we have the wrong cards. There's Council of Echoes and Echo of Dust and Chupacabra Echo, but no Echoes of Eternity. Oh, MH3? Nah, I don't even play any formats where MH3 is even a thing. I just make standard content. So I mean, I occasionally will make one video every once in a while for the other formats just because, but generally I'm going to be mostly standard stuff. So any of that stuff, like now I do play Commander on other people's stuff. So like next week, I'll actually be down in LA shooting stuff with the guys over at Tabletop Jocks because we're going to make a couple videos. We've been doing a thing called the Cookout every summer. A bunch of us go down to LA. We film stuff for like 2 or 3 days, and then those videos slowly come out over the next few months. So we're going to go down there and I'll shoot some stuff with them. And I do stuff with MTG Nerd Girl and them over on Decked Out. So on their channel. So if you want to see me play some Commander, I do that over there. But I don't think I've done any content for, again, a deck here or there, but I haven't done any real consistent content for any of the older formats outside of Commander, I don't think. I like Standard when it was just 3 sets and a week of craziness and when they overlap. Okay, not sure I understand that statement, but I will say this. I think there was some concern for Standard being a problem with there being 3 years worth of sets. But truthfully, this has been the most diverse and interesting Standard we've had for the last 6 to 9 months, I would say, in a long time. Like the fact that there's multiple hyper aggro decks, multiple combo-y type decks, multiple artifact decks, multiple enchantment decks, multiple control decks, right? There's some planeswalker based stuff. Like there's actually reasonable strategies, hell, discard decks, right? Like if you want to play anything, there's a deck that you could build in Standard around that type of theme, which is wild because I don't even remember. Even when we've had like good Standard, we've been like, oh, this is a good Standard. There's like 3 different top tier decks, and then there's like 5 or 6 different tier 2 decks you can play. But right now, there's a lot. Like even when you go look at tournament standings in different stuff, like I like just doing a quick glance, like even Esper aggro is like the big aggro deck, and it's only 15% of the decks that have top 8'd or top 32'd any of the tournaments recently. Like Boros aggro is only 12, and then you got Golgari aggro, different variations of the 5-color stuff, mono red, Bant aggro. You've got the poison decks, you've got mono black, you've got Orzhov aggro, crazy stuff there. You've got life gain decks, you got Selesnya enchantments, right? Like you've got the land based control decks, right? With like Nissa and whatever. You got the traditional blue white control, you have domain decks, you've got Esper control stuff. Like you can play damn near anything, really, which is crazy. I don't know if that's how much that's going to change when Bloomburrow comes out, because we do lose 5 sets, I think, because we technically had 2 sets of Innistrad. So that's going to be a little weird, but probably still fine, So we'll see, because it's going to be the first rotation we've had since we've instituted the 3-year standard. So we'll see. Well, this first significant rotation, I should say. When I think Standard now, I automatically think Arena because of COVID. And that's fair. That's totally fair. I think it's going to take at least a full other year of people playing Standard to really build it back up, right? We're going to have another year's worth of big regional events PTQ seasons or RCQ seasons as they are now. People getting used to going back to store championships, standard showdowns, big prize tournaments at conventions, right? It's going to take a bit for it to come back. But also, there's a thing where when people get burnt out with something, some people are like, I played a lot of Commander, but I don't have the cards to build like a modern deck or whatever. But because they've been buying cards for the last couple of years, they'll be able to build a standard deck, right? Especially as we get into like Bloomborough and stuff, because that's probably going to draw a lot of people in. So them having cards already be like, oh, you could build a deck around whatever this theme is, and then play in your local FNMs or whatever. So it'll be interesting. And Wizards is slowly incentivizing more standard play. So it'll come back, but it's going to be a slow rebuild, right? Because what I think people forgot is pre-COVID, standard was mostly either FNMs or the major like RCQ season type play, right? There wasn't a lot of casual standard play. And when there was no reason for people to play standard because there weren't tournaments, we weren't qualifying for anything big or whatever. You couldn't go to your local store and play FNMs. People just quit playing it and just played what they could. You had your COVID pod or your people you trusted and you played Commander with the same people or you played online with some folks, right? Now we're getting back to a thing where okay, maybe we could do some standard and we're starting to get back to that. So that'll be a thing. It's just going to take a while. I think people thought, oh, well, standard's going to be a quick turnaround. Like, no. I mean, remember, we basically had 3 years off of playing standard. So that's probably also part of the reason in the logic that they went ahead and made standard 3 years. So any cards people bought at this most recent year or two will still be good for another 12 to 24 months, depending on whenever they bought their cards, right? So now they could do that a little bit longer, feel comfortable. And here's a big thing. I think going into next spring, and they haven't said this yet, but I bet they're going to bring back the standard. What do we call those? Like the pre-built standard decks, where you can pick up a deck for like $30 or whatever it was. I think that's going to be a big deal too, right? So when these stores are like, "Hey, we're going to do standard showdown or whatever it is, or store championships," and people are like, I don't have a standard deck. Like, well, for $30, you can just scoop one up real quick and play. I think you're going to see more people do that. And since they already have basically 80 to 85% of a deck, you'll want to swap out a few cards to make it a little better. But that will go a long way toward helping too. So I think there's things like that that are tools we can have in place that we'll probably see again soon. And I think that's going to make a little bit of a difference. Also, welcome, James White. Precons would bring it back. Oh, to do that for a lot of people. I'm sure there's going to be quite popular when they do them. So I would not be shocked in the least. I expect to see those. Realistically, I would love to see them come out in like February next year, if not late this year, but probably be there. But realistically, it'll probably be March or April next year. But when we get them, I think those will make a big difference too. But all right, y'all, we've done about 3 hours of stream here on this wonderful late night stream that started at just before midnight local time. So I appreciate all y'all for hanging out. I really do. Again, if you want to support your boy, really appreciate it. But hey, at the very least, watch the videos, keep liking them, keep sharing them. Honestly, sharing them is a big deal. If you know people who are just getting into Magic, getting into Standard, maybe they're beginner players and want somebody who's chill that they can learn from, show them my channel, show them my videos. Like, word of mouth from your friends is some of the best things a creator can have to get people to watch your stuff, for real, But yeah, I have a fun video up right now. It went up at midnight local time. Apparently, y'all are really liking that video to start with, so that's really cool. If you want to check that out, it's a crazy deck. I don't know where it came from, but I think it might have been an AI project. So when you watch it, you'll understand why. But it does play Elvish Archivist, and it's actually reasonably decent. So yeah, it's weird, but check that out. It's a fun one. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I need to clean up a couple things and then get some sleep because I got to make more content for y'all tomorrow. And we may, I'm gonna say may do a mid-afternoon stream tomorrow. Depends on kind of how things go. But I'll definitely have some cool decks coming for y'all either way. But wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, because I know some of y'all are on from all over the world. Remember to take care of yourselves and your family. Remember to be awesome. And most importantly, Be awesome to each other. I'll catch y'all in the next one.